Is live. We are live for this week's Wednesday Night War. Unfortunately, it is a Wednesday Night War once again. We've been spoiled the past few weeks where NXT and AEW were on different days, and I've really enjoyed that. It would be a lot better if someone would move, but I'm not sure that they will. There were reports that NXT were looking at moving, but I've also seen reports that that's now not happening. There was reports that they might be going to Tuesdays, but as I said, I've read a few more rumours that apparently that's now been scrapped. So, not sure what's happening there. Be great if someone would. It makes watching both shows a lot more enjoyable when you can give it your full attention. So, anyway. That's not what we've got tonight. We do have two shows tonight. We've got AEW and we've got NXT. And both look like they're going to be interesting shows. I would say on paper, AEW looks a little bit stronger. The reason why I say that is because they've got a little bit more about them. AEW always do a very good job of telling us what we can expect. And they've really given us quite the preview. There's loads, man. I've got a whole page of stuff to talk to you about. Not much in the way of news and rumours, but just plenty of matches for us to talk about and things that could go down tonight. Let me jump into the chat. Shout out to everyone that's there. Chalmers and William Hensey and Imtiaz. We've got Jerry and Franklin. We've got Austin316, Sonny Wolf as well. William Hensey, shout out to you. LCF Enterprises says NXT needs to move to a Tuesday. To be honest, I'm just saying that because Tuesdays are boring and it'll give me something to watch, which is fair enough. We obviously watched the NWA show yesterday, and it was quite interesting looking at the response to that on social media. There was a lot of love for it. Not love for the technical issues, but a lot of love for the matches that were shown. And a lot of support, a lot of positivity, a lot of frustration at the technical issues, but they will get sorted. So, yeah, I'm keeping fingers crossed for next week's show. That was on Fight. And next week, the main event is Thunder Rosa taking on Priscilla Kelly. That's the main event, apparently, for the NWA Women's Championship. So you've got to think that she's definitely winning tonight. I don't think there's too many people that expect her to lose tonight. But that pretty much confirms that she's definitely winning tonight as well. So Thunder Rosa defending the NWA Women's Championship on AEW tonight. Thunder Rosa taking on Ivelisse. So, yeah, we got that. We got Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. That's a parking lot brawl. We've got FTR taking on Jurassic Express. If Jurassic Express win, they get a title shot. We've got a Lance Archer John Moxley interview. We've got Hangman Page taking on Frankie Kazarian. We've got Miro and Kip Sabian appearing. And MJF in action as well. So that's the preview for AEW. Quite a bit of stuff there for what's going to be on the show tonight. In regards to NXT, we've got two announcements from William Regal. One, I'm guessing, is going to be NXT TakeOver that was announced earlier today. NXT TakeOver. The next one's going to be October 4th. So we've had that announced. But there's another announcement. Well, it might not even be that. We're getting two, and I'm not sure what they are. Damian Priest against Timothy Thatcher for the North American Championship. Breezango defending the tag titles against Imperium. Io Shirai takes on Shotzi Blackheart. And then we got Drake Maverick and Killian Dane taking on Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. So there we go. That's NXT. So quite a bit of stuff going on. Hi, Wrestling Days. My big brother surprised me at school today. He was on a tour of duty in Kuwait I'm so happy to see him and that he is back. That's very cool, dude. Very cool. Shout out to you, WWE Inside Access Wrestling. That's cool. Kevin says, I like that Thunder Rosa's theme is metal. Do you know what? I can't even tell you what it sounds like off the top of my head. I don't know that I've paid it a great deal of attention, which is quite a surprise, considering they don't tend to have theme music in NWA. They only use it for the pay-per-view shows. So, yeah, I'll have to keep an ear out for that tonight. Wrestling Days fan, shout out to you. I'm all right, thank you. Tall Paul 2000s Gaming Channel says, NXT UK tomorrow at 8. When you say 8, do you mean, I'm guessing you mean 8 UK time and not 8 American time. Because 8 American time would be 1 a.m. here, I believe, in the UK. So I'm guessing that's 8 UK time. I just want to clarify that in case anyone wanted to watch it. Days, did you see that AEW announced that they have signed Will Hobbs? The guy has got a big future ahead of him. I have, yeah, I did see that. I retweeted it, or at least I think I retweeted it. He's got his Will Hobbs' All Elite graphic, which is brilliant and much, much, much deserved. So, yeah, I'm really impressed with that guy. I thought he was a shining light out of All Out, and I haven't seen him on Dark because I don't watch Dark, but I'm just, from what I've seen of All Out, he grabs your attention. I agree. He's a big future star. Big future star. Gorilla Press says, here with Days live for AEW Dynamite and NXT. Shout out to you, Gorilla Press. Watched Gorilla Press's making of the mask, the Mick Foley video, and it's very good. It's very, very good. Even Mick Foley was learning stuff because they managed to get the mask maker on as well. So Mick Foley was asking questions of like how the mask was designed and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, really good stuff. Check it out if you've not seen it. I'm so excited for NXT, says John. NXT should be good. Should be good. I'm intrigued by those 2 announcements. We've got 2 title matches as well. Plus, we've got Io and Shotzi going up against each other. More news regarding NXT as well. Wade Barrett has signed, and that means that he is going to be doing commentary full time now for NXT. I think we probably expected that to happen. It's a loss for NWA because there's no way he's going to be able to do both. So that's a real shame. I don't know who they're going to get for Power now when Power returns. Of course, it was Jim Cornette, and then Jim Cornette left. Then they brought in Wade Barrett, who was doing an excellent job, and or Stu Bennett for his real name. And not only did they have him commentating, but he was doing little bits on like their social media as well, like on their YouTube channel and whatnot. So he was quite heavily involved. More involved than just turning up and doing commentary and going again, you know. So it's a bit of a loss for NWA. But I'm really pleased for him, and it'd be great if they can somehow use him for a match. That would be big. If they could get an NXT TakeOver Wade Barrett match, that would be awesome. Sean says, Wade signed 2 weeks ago. I didn't see that. I saw the news broke that he had signed today. So if the news is that he signed a contract 2 weeks ago, then the news is only broken today. I know a couple of weeks ago he returned, but that was only a one-off deal. And he ended up doing 2 shows, maybe 3 shows. But again, he wasn't under any long-term contract. But that news breaking that he is going to be sticking around now. Heather says, NWA takes another hit. I know. The Happy Pug Queen says the announcement is going to be the PS5 release date. That would be awesome. Could you imagine if William Regal's got some exclusive information about the PS5 and everyone's got to tune in to NXT to find out? William Hensey says, happy birthday to Imtiaz. Love you, brother. Oh, happy birthday. Yeah, I believe it is today that it is your birthday. Is it the 17th? Like, is it because it just changed 11 minutes ago? I'm sure it is. I'd hate to think it was your birthday earlier and I haven't wished you happy birthday. So I'll do it. I'll do it now because I think it is now. So happy birthday to you, MTS. Have a great day. I was pleasantly surprised how good Wade Barrett was on the NWA. And look forward to seeing him on NXT UK. Oh, what? Is he going to NXT UK, is it? I thought he was doing NXT. Did you hear about NXT TakeOver October 4th? Yes, and we just touched on it, yeah. Not that far away, actually. Couple of weeks, isn't it? It's kind of out of the blue. Yes, it's the 17th. Cool. Happy 24th birthday, dude. Days, have you seen that the PS5 price is not expensive at all? The first edition is $399, the second edition $499. That's good, isn't it? I saw that it's about the same as what the Xbox is. I gotta be honest, I'm not too bothered. I'm not someone that is a big gamer, so I'm not someone that... I have bought consoles when they first come out. I remember being in America when the PS3 came out. I was in Florida when it came out, and there was a lot of excitement. And it had come out in America, but it hadn't hit the UK yet, because there was a couple of months difference, I believe. So, it might not even have been that much. It might have been a few weeks. I can't remember. But I know it came out in America first. And I was like, I was looking at it, and I was like, I could buy that now. Take that back to the UK. I wouldn't have any spending money for the rest of my holiday, but I would have a PS3. And of course, I bought one. So, I bought one. I had to buy this big adapter to get it to work as well, because obviously all the plugs were American. So I ended up having to buy this big adapter thing, and when I got back to the UK, and I can't say I regretted it. Like, I don't regret buying it, but I don't feel the need to run out and buy a PS5 or run out and buy an Xbox. I mean, not that I've got PS5 money or Xbox money anyway, but I'm not too fussed. But I'm pleased that it's cheap. That means that people, I should imagine they'll sell out, wouldn't they? If you're after one, I'd strongly recommend that you pre-order. The PS5 looks incredible. RIP Xbox, says Wrestling Days fan. Gavin E says, should I watch AEW or NXT? Only you can answer that, my friend. It depends who you prefer. It depends what you're more intrigued by. I think there are quite a few people like you that are very torn each week as to which way to go. I would imagine a lot of people probably watch one and then DVR the other. I can't imagine there's too many people doing what I do, which is like trying to watch both at the same time. Go with whatever your heart tells you. Days, maybe the announcement is going to be another breakout tournament. That would be cool, Robin. That would be cool. I'd be down for that. Mr. Rotella, shout out to you. Hope you are well. God of War PS5. I never saw the announcement, so I don't know. I saw there's a Hogwarts game on the way, but I didn't see anything else. Obviously, it means that when the new WWE game comes out next year, that's all going to be built for next generation. The thing is, if the game came out this year, I'm not sure it would really take advantage of the specifications. I always find that the wrestling games that come out the first year that a console does, they're never quite up to standard. Always takes them a year or so to really start exploring what the system can actually do. So it's not the worst year for 2K to kind of put things on hold, because they're obviously working on 2K22 already. And so they can really make that look very, very impressive. That 2K22 on next generation consoles is going to look awesome. And maybe, who knows, we'll get an AEW game We know that that's in the works. We know that that's something that's on the way. Kenny Omega in particular, a massive gamer, really wants to see a computer game, and there's enough companies that will make that as well. So, there's been lots of teases about that. So, because there's no announcement of that, you'd have to think that's coming next year. You'd have to think that's coming on next generation consoles as well. It is a stacked fight night on Saturday, or UFC fight night this weekend. Looks incredible. It really does. It looks, stacked is the word. And there's a lot of people saying that the show this weekend is more impressive than the big show the week after. We've got some big UFC cards on the way. James Chadwick says, what if the announcement is an NXT Royal Rumble to get a new number one contender? Well, we've specified and speculated about a Royal Rumble match for NXT, and it's never happened. So I'm not going to get my hopes up again. So I would love it. I'd be a big fan of it, but I just don't. I don't think that's going to be the thing. I can't tell. I mean, he's got 2 announcements, and you'd think that one will be NXT TakeOver for those that haven't heard already, but I'm not sure what the other one will be. Days, shout out to Z2CU. Zed's Fun Facts. Did you know that 25 years ago, WCW fired stunning Steve Austin? Austin, who was out injured, was infamously sent his termination notice by Eric Bischoff via FedEx. Shout out to you, Z2CU. Killer Sasuke says, Wrestling Days, in the past few months, we have had a huge argument in the chat of who's the real jobber in the community. Who do you think it is? I think it's you, Killer Sasuke. Just because you're the one that's brought it to my attention means that you care the most about it, which means you are the jobber. John says, what if it is an NXT Championship elimination match? I would imagine that it will be some kind of a match. I'm not sure for what title. You would think probably Finn's, because Finn doesn't really have a number one contender, does he? I mean, if you think about it, they've just done like a big Iron Man match, and then it got down to Finn and Adam Cole. It's a hard argument to make now to say Johnny should have a title opportunity, or Tommaso. Kind of feels like they've had an opportunity. They could have been champ if they'd have won that Fatal 4-Way. So I kind of feel like it doesn't need to be any of them. So we need to figure out who is facing Finn Balor at this takeover show that's literally in a couple of weeks' time. So it's quite interesting. I don't know which way it's going to go. Let me know who you think it's going to be. Who do you think faces Finn Balor at NXT TakeOver? I don't even know what they're calling it. Just NXT TakeOver at the moment. 31, isn't it? But I don't know what it's going to be called. NXT TakeOver, no fans. NXT TakeOver, empty Full Sail. I'm not sure what it's going to be called. Mox and Archer won't disappoint. Their match at Wrestle Kingdom 14 was incredible, says Heather. AEW filed for 2 trademarks on September 10th, both for their video game, one being an AEW General Manager mode. I did not know that, Daniel. I never saw that news. That's very interesting. Shout out to you. I never saw that they'd filed for some gaming trademarks. Robin813 says, maybe it's a return in Dexter Lumis or Adam Cole. Adam Cole had his opportunity, unless they're going to run a rematch, and there's not really a reason to do that because he lost clean. And I think the fact that he lost clean and the fact that he was shaking Finn's hand after was very much a full stop. I think it was very much, when that's it, that's done. Like, we don't need to go any further with that feud. So I don't think Adam Cole. And Dexter Lumis, I think he's out injured still. I'm not sure when he's coming back, so don't know. don't know. It's hard to say. Johnny Gargano, I wouldn't do Gargano or Ciampa, as I said, because they've had their opportunity. They were in that same fatal four. They could have been champion if they'd have won that match. In fact, they didn't even get to the overtime, if you know what I mean. They got straight eliminated. So how do they now deserve a title opportunity? I can't see the argument for it, unless they're going to come walking out and just challenge Finn. But that seems a bit lazy. I would do someone different. I really would. Give us Finn Balor versus someone that isn't Cole, Gargano, or Ciampa. But I can't, in my head, I can't figure out who that would be. Adam Cole versus Finn 3, says John. Kevin Owens or Aleister Black, says Robin813. That's quite interesting. Maybe they could go and borrow from the main roster just to give it like a big main event feel. That's interesting. Did you hear about White versus Povetkin rematch? I did, yeah. I'm pretty sure we're going to cover it, but I need to just have a look, see if there's anything on at the same time. Will you watch NXT UK tomorrow? I'll probably watch it, but not live. But I'll probably try to have a look at it. I'm not too fussed, if I'm being honest. I never watched it before it went away. I'm quite intrigued to see what it's like in that new studio setting, but yeah. Mike says, have you heard about Jon Moxley starting a new Shield in AEW with Harper and Miro? No, I don't think that's happening. If it does, that's going to be well into the future, because if you take Harper out of the Dark Order, what did the Dark Order do then? They've spent a lot of time building up the Dark Order, and I believe elements of it are working. Apparently, they're doing very well on being the elite, a couple of members, and obviously now Brody's a champion, TNT champion. I can't see them doing a new Shield. Or if they do, it'll be well into the future. I think it'll be Johnny, says Wrestling Days fam. Trenton says Bronson Reed. They are building him up, in all fairness. But he hasn't won the North American. Can he just skip that and go? That wouldn't be the worst. If they build him up and really make him look good. I mean, don't forget, Austin Theory was bumping all over Full Sail for him. So could it be that they have started to build him up? Maybe he gets another squash win tonight, looks really dominant, and then steps out and challenges Finn, and we get Finn versus Bronson Reed. That might not be the worst, actually. That might not be the worst. Finn Balor versus Pete Dunne. That would be awesome. That would be awesome if they could get Pete Dunne over. Lauren says it'll probably be Dream, but I would like for it to be Kushida. Well, Kushida attacked Dream, so I feel quite confident saying that those two will face each other at TakeOver. So I don't think it'll be either that go on to face Finn Balor. I think those two are facing each other at TakeOver. Finn Balor versus Tyler Breeze. I believe on the anniversary episode of Dynamite, Moxley will beat Archer and Kenny will replicate what Moxley did by sneaking behind him. Yes. What about Cameron Grimes? He's not quite there for me. Cameron Grimes just isn't landing. I'm seeing a few people getting excited about him, but for me, he's just a bit of another Baron Corbin. He's a Baron Corbin that's a little bit better in the ring, but I don't get excited for a Cameron Grimes match. If Cameron Grimes was on the show, I wouldn't care. He doesn't excite me in the slightest. I can't quite tell what his gimmick is. I think his gimmick is a bit like a carny, a little bit like a circus vibe. I think carny. I think it's like someone that's like from the carnival days, but Yeah, I just can't get into it. I can't connect with him, and I can't get into it, and I don't know. Maybe. I mean, he is one of their better heels. You know, I mean, he's really irritating. So he is one of their better heels, but that wouldn't really excite me if I'm being honest. That's the main event. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it could be. It's a good shout. Days, for some reason, Jim Cornette loves Cameron Grimes because he says Grimes is a great gimmick. I don't know what that gimmick is. I really struggle with Cameron Grimes because I don't know what that gimmick is. He just comes out and is just annoying. But I don't know I don't know what he is. I don't know what he does. I don't know anything about him. They've given me no character backstory. I don't know why. I don't know anything about him. And in ring, he's all right, but not any. I haven't seen like an incredible Cameron Grimes match yet, and it's still quite early for him. But I would have expected. I mean, like, I feel like I've got more from MJF than I have from Cameron Grimes. Like, you'd have to say that both are, you know, two of the biggest heels. Although, you know, they pulled the trigger on MJF, didn't they? MJF competed for the AEW Championship at All Out. Maybe it is time that they pulled the trigger for Cameron Grimes. But if you look at MJF, they were doing some really interesting stuff with him. Those vignettes where it was like MJF 2020 and he was trying to win the vote and all of this. And they were doing like the whole presidential shtick. Haven't done anything for Cameron Grimes. Haven't done any, apart from him like doing, didn't he steal a car or something? I can't remember. He was messing around with like Damian Priest. But yeah, I just can't get into the guy. I just cannot get into him. Jeff Cobb signed to New Japan, says Sean Rossett. Future Compilations says, since the next NXT takeover is on October 4th, could Priest lose the title and then go for the NXT title? That's not a bad shout, actually. That's not a bad shout at all. So we've got what? Damian Priest against Timothy Thatcher tonight. So could Thatcher win, freeing up Damian Priest, and then he goes and competes against Finn Balor? Wasn't it Finn Balor against Damian Priest in your house as well? So they've got some history. The only reason I didn't even consider Damian Priest is because he's North American champion. But you're absolutely right. What if he loses that title tonight? That frees him up, and then he can go on to face Finn Balor. I'd be down for that, actually. I think Damian Priest is very interesting. He is someone that interests me. He's got a great look, great promo, great deep voice. Yeah, he's someone that really interests me. That's a really good shout, actually. Robin813 says it could be one of the new Evolve talents. They've got no time to build them up. I mean, it would be interesting if someone just attacked Balor and it was like, who's this? Who's this guy? Do you know what I mean? And it's like, what's this? What's happening? Who is this? And like, there's just confusion at the end of the show. And then next week we get introduced, and then whoever it is challenges for the title. I mean, that would be interesting. But I don't know if that would be a big enough draw for TakeOver, because you really have got no time to build for it. And I think where you've got someone like Damian Priest that's been around and has really established themselves, I think they would probably more likely go that way. But I'd like to see them doing more with that Evolve talent. Kevin says Trevor Lee was Cameron Grimes' name before he was in WWE. Days, the big announcement is going to be Finn versus William Regal, says Eric. Oh, I would love that. I would love that. Febin says, Days, the one last thing that the Hurt Business would need to be a perfect mix of stars would be a giant like Mark Henry or Big Daddy V. Do you think anyone like that is there now? That Dabba-Kato, I think might be, he's quite big, isn't he? I mean, like, we're getting him against Braun, is it, next week on Raw Underground? And, I mean, I know that he's being used on Raw Underground, but the Hurt Business have been on Raw Underground as well. So it might be a good vehicle to bring Kato into an actual wrestling ring and probably onto the show. So if you wanted a monster like that, then there seems to be quite a bit of intrigue around that Dabba Kato. They've done well with him on Raw Underground. He's been probably the only success story so far. They've really made him look really, really strong. So yeah, I'd say him. Priest versus Finn already happened. It did, but because it already happened, it's going to make doing a rematch a lot easier because you've got a story you can build on. I think it was Finn that won. You know, now you could have Damian Priest saying, I faced you before. I now know what it takes to beat you. And, you know, I've tasted championship gold of my own. And now I'm coming for that. So, you know, there's a story that could be told because they have faced each other before. Finn versus Sammy Guevara could happen for the NXT title. Will happen for the NXT title. I would be surprised, let's put it that way. Days, could it be Lars Sullivan? Well, look, if it is going to be Lars, they're going to have to move quick. Again, if it's going to be any of these kind of surprises, like a talent that we haven't seen already, they're going to have to move quick because we don't have long. Like, it's 2 weeks on Sunday, I think, or something. So, yeah, I mean, like, they might have to plant some seeds tonight. Monica King says, what if it's Volta versus Finn? The only problem with that is I think that there's still no travel, is there, allowed between the UK and the US? So, as a result, I can't see it, but I would love it. I would love it. That would be awesome. I mean, we were meant to get that match as well. That match was meant to take place at TakeOver Dublin, but seemingly has been shelved. Camille versus Thunder Rosa and Ivelisse in a handicap match. Who would your bet be on? Depends. If Thunder Rosa was leaving to go to AEW and that match was on Primetime Live, then I might lean towards Camille because Camille, like, you know, would need to be put over as strong and dominant, and having her beat 2 women and one of them being Thunder Rosa, who's leaving, would achieve exactly that. So it depends on what's happening at the time. That's why, like, fantasy booking is always so hard. There's always people that are like, oh, if you get Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar, who would win? And you're like, well, it really depends what the story is, because you can make an argument for both. Majority of the time you would say Brock, but if his contract's coming towards the end, you know, then they'll go with Samoa Joe. Believe it or not, Tom Campbell from Cultaholic has likened the Hurt Business to the Horsemen or Evolution. Okay. Well, that just makes me feel even better about the fact I don't get a chance to watch Cultaholic. WWE Inside Access Wrestling says, Days, you are amazing. I bought 18 of your shirts. Incredible. Thank you, my friend. Febin says, Days, do you think it's going to be the end of any sort of push for Andrade now that he's apparently split with Zelina and Garza? Has he? Has he split with them? I know that, like, they're breaking up, but I didn't see who Zelina was sticking with. Zelina was having a go at Garza, so I would have thought Garza was the one that was breaking away. And that Zelina would stay with Andrade. I hope that he gets a push. I would love for Andrade to be main event. I don't know what more the guy needs to do, to be honest. He was great down in NXT. He's a former NXT champion. I don't think Vince necessarily sees it in him, to be honest. I think Vince sees another Nakamura. I think Andrade is a very, very good in-ring wrestler, struggles with English, and I think is basically on the same level as Nakamura, which is a real shame because both of them deserve better. Nakamura, when he was doing like his feud with AJ and he won the Rumble and everything, I thought he was doing some really good stuff. Some really good stuff. It's just that WrestleMania match kind of underwhelmed a little bit, you know. But yeah, I hope that they do go back to giving him a singles run again. He deserves that. Rated R Wrestling says SmackDown is going to be legit on Fox this Friday. SmackDown's been doing really, really well, hasn't it, recently? Really well. So, yeah, it's my favourite show of the week, which is crazy to say that. SmackDown, I mean, I went for a long time without even watching SmackDown. I would just watch Raw and then just keep an eye on SmackDown results because they didn't mean anything. Like, some storylines might get furthered, but as soon as you got back to Raw, they would just be like, this is what happened on SmackDown, and you'd get a video package anyway. So you didn't need to watch SmackDown. Once you had the brand split and they became separate, then you did. And now it's got to the point where it's my favourite show. So, yeah, it's really, really weird to sit here and say that, but genuinely it is. I think it's a really enjoyable show. John says, I hope it's like Money in the Bank or a Rumble for the announcement. I would like that as well, yes. I would like that as well. Wrestling Days fan says, SmackDown doing awesome. SmackDown for life. Mr. Tacos says, Days, would you like a gauntlet for the NXT women's title? I'm not a fan of gauntlets, if I'm being honest. I think that it really favours people that come into it late. I know you can say the same about the Royal Rumble, but the thing with the Rumble is you can actually like hide in the corner a little bit, you know, kind of slump in the corner, or just kind of feud with someone for a little bit. And it's not as if you're having to work all the time. Whereas with a gauntlet, the next person won't come down until that your match finishes. So if you're number one, there's nowhere to hide. You've got to have match after match after match after match after match. Whereas with a Rumble, at least you've got the opportunity of getting a breather. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still not ideal if you draw number one, but I'm just saying that I can vibe with a Royal Rumble a little bit better, a lot better actually. I love Rumbles, compared to a gauntlet match. A gauntlet match, there's no hiding place, and if you draw number one, number two, then you're screwed basically. Number three, even, or four. It always favours those that come in later. So, yeah, I'm not a gauntlet match fan. I'm not a gauntlet match fan. We've had some good gauntlet matches, but I kind of feel like where someone draws number one and they do really well, they beat number two, they beat number three, they beat number four, and they just fall short. I'm thinking, like, I'm sure Seth did that a few years ago. I kind of feel like that's one of the only stories you can tell with a gauntlet match. I don't know really what other stories you can tell. They're not my favourite kinds of matches. Darth Maul deserved better. Says they should make SmackDown 3 hours instead of Raw. Raw is awful now. Disagree, because I think Raw is awful because it's 3 hours. So if you make SmackDown 3 hours, you run the risk of that becoming awful. The fact of the matter is that a 3-hour wrestling show every week is too difficult to book. You need to have a very deep roster of compelling characters, and for whatever reason, WWE really struggles with that. You tend to get the same people every week. Same with AEW. Same with like Raw, SmackDown, kind of NXT. NXT do mix it up a little bit more, but still you tend to see the same faces each week. So I kind of feel that 3 hours, unless you're going to really rotate your roster, and unless you're going to really have like very interesting stories happening that maybe overlap, and you just can't do it. Can't do it. So I would say take Raw to 2 hours, keep SmackDown at 2 hours. I mean, I don't know. I know like they They love the ad revenue, but what? I mean, they've got NXT now that's making ad revenue. I suppose it's on a Wednesday on a different night. Maybe the ad revenue's not as strong as a Monday or something. I'm not sure. But for me, don't take Raw to 3. Don't take SmackDown to 3. Take Raw to 2. It'll never happen. But Charles says Raw is only awful because there's no good wrestlers on the brand. Robin says, Days, what about a dark horse like Kyle O'Reilly or Roderick Strong? I would. Roderick Strong would be all right. Kyle O'Reilly, I see him as a tag star, and I always struggle with tag guys being in singles matches. I hate to see it. I just can't. I struggle with it. There's only a few exceptions to that rule where I think someone is so obvious that they would succeed as a singles star. I don't know that I really get that vibe from Kyle O'Reilly. I feel like Kyle O'Reilly would win a mid-card title, but is Kyle O'Reilly good enough to win the big one, the main one, as a solo star? I don't really get that impression that he is. So I would have to say no with Kyle. But Roderick Strong, you could do. You're going to get a great match. Roderick Strong, Finn Balor. So you could go that way. But is that the most exciting match? I think I'd be leaning to Damian Priest, Finn Balor, or Bronson Reed, Finn Balor. Killer Sasuke says, Days, maybe Raw becomes 4 hours in 2025, and then we'll be begging for it to go back to 3. That's quite clever, actually. That's good psychology. Everyone's complaining that Raw's 3 hours. Let's make it 4, and then they'll beg for it to be 3. You should be working for WWE. That's clever. Robin says you need to check out Carl's single stuff in Ring of Honor. I don't dispute that as a single star he would be impressive, but what is he? Is he Ring of Honor? Is he a former Ring of Honor world champion? I don't know the answer to that as I'm sitting here. I don't know, right? But my point would be with Finn, Tommaso, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, can I see Kyle O'Reilly being in that kind of mixture? I from what I've seen, I don't. He's an incredible striker. He's got an incredible skill set. Probably from a skill point of view, he could, but they would have to do a lot of work on his character. He's always been one of the guys. He's always been someone that's in the pack rather than someone that I've seen as the leader of the whole brand, you know? If Ring of Honor had enough confidence in him to put the world title on him, then, I don't know, maybe that shows that he is good enough, but I don't know if they did or if they didn't. Hurt Business would destroy Retribution, says Bam7186. Oh, I gotta tell you, I hated that. I hated where you had Retribution and Hurt Business going at each other, and then who was it? Keith Lee and Drew jumped over the top and just wiped them all out. It was like, I thought that was a bit cringe. So yeah, I think they've really taken some missteps with Retribution. Really taken, and I think that what we saw on Raw on Monday was one of them. Mr. Tacos says the NXT title picture is getting really bland, saying that they use the same 5 in the NXT title picture. Yeah, I agree, but that's where if they use someone like Damian Priest or Bronson Reed, that's where, you know, it would freshen it up a little bit. And I can see an argument for both of them being used. Certainly if Damian Priest loses the title tonight, then, you know, that could be quite interesting. We've got 15 minutes. That's all. 15 minutes. Let me just quickly go down the matches and the news that we've got as well. So in NXT, we've got Regal is going to make 2 announcements. We don't know what they are. We've been speculating. We think one will be TakeOver. and the other will hopefully be something to do with an opponent for Finn. We've got Damian Priest against Timothy Thatcher for the North American Championship. We've got Breezango defending the NXT tag titles against Imperium. We got Io Shirai taking on Shotzi Blackheart. That's non-title. We got Drake Maverick and Killian Dane against Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. And then over on AEW, we've got MJF in action. We got Miro and Kip Sabian promo. We got Thunder Rosa taking on Ivelisse, I think, for the NWA World's Women Championship. We got Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz in a parking lot brawl. We've got FTR versus Jurassic Express. If Jurassic Express win, they get a title shot. We've got a Lance Archer interview and a Jon Moxley appearance. We've got Hangman Page taking on Frankie Kazarian. So both shows have got a lot going on. A few title matches in there as well. NWA Women's title match, North American Championship match, NXT Tag Team Championship match. So quite a few championships being defended. Some interesting matchups, and it's hard to say who's got the more intriguing show. I think AEW have definitely told us more of what we can expect from them. But I'm very intrigued by the Regal announcements. The match I'm most looking forward to, Thunder Rosa against Ivelisse. I think it's Ivelisse. I really need to listen as to how you pronounce it. I think it's Ivelisse. Yeah, AEW, I think, might just have the edge. Adam Cole Bay says Jaden. So yeah, interesting stuff. So we've got 12 and a half minutes. J14 says both shows seem pretty good. Yeah, quite a bit going on. Rockstar Anch, shout out to you. Febin says, Days, just remember that the underground security / giant ninja could be the final piece of the puzzle for Hurt Business. Could be. Yeah, could be. It's not a bad shout at all. Mr. Tacos says, I can see them having Finn being attacked for a few weeks, and at TakeOver, they then surprise us. Mike says, check out the awesome interview with Eddie Kingston on AEW Unrestricted. Okay. I think it's Ivelisse. Ivelisse, is it? Okay. I'll make a note of that. Eva Marie Lise. Ivelisse. Okay. Thank you. Days, are you tucking today? I'm not. No, I'm not actually. I've just let it all hang. I needed some inspiration. I can't wait to see what she's going to do on Monday. She's done the half tuck. She's done the French tuck. I was looking into other tucks, but I couldn't really find anything. There were just stupid ones like the cardigan tuck, which is where you wear a cardigan and you tuck it in. It's like, that's not a tuck. Do you know what I mean? I want like a half tuck or a French tuck or a Colombian tuck or something like that. I don't want like a cardigan tuck. What's a cardigan tuck? Oh, it's where you wear a cardigan and you tuck it in. Like, brilliant. How long did it take you to think that up? Days, who do you think is in Retribution? Who do you think is the leader? I just don't care. That's the truth now. I've even stopped doing videos on it. I just don't care. I mean, like, we can see that it's NXT talent. They seem to be using the same NXT talent. They seem to be using Mia Yim, Dio Madden, Dominik Dijakovic. They seem to be using those guys. I don't know why they need Retribution if it is going to turn out to be them. If Dominik Dijakovic is going to turn out to be the leader, and that you would have to say is a front runner right now. Not bothered. mean, like, maybe I'd be more excited. Maybe I'd be more excited if I didn't. I kind of feel like NXT ruins things a little bit. And what I mean by that is I know everything about these guys now. Maybe not so much Dio Madden. He could be interesting. Haven't seen much of him at all. But I know everything about Dijakovic, Mia Yim, and Mercedes Martinez. I kind of miss the days where, people would arrive and you just didn't know about them. Do you remember, like, I can remember, I think it was Harvey Wimpleman who said to The Undertaker, because you beat Kamala and embarrassed Kamala and everything, I'm going to end your career. I've got something special. And he went out and got the Giant Gonzalez. And we hadn't seen Giant Gonzalez in NXT. Like, this was the first time we saw him coming walking down, the tallest superstar in the history of WWE. Just coming walking down. It's like, who is this guy? You just don't get that anymore. Now you go, that's Mia Yim, Dominic Dijakovic. It kind of takes it away. Do you know what I mean? I get excited for call-ups. I get if the lights went out and Undisputed Era arrived, you'd be like, this is awesome or whatever. But where they're teasing people under masks and you can clearly see who it is, I just don't care. Unless they're going to do a real swerve and it's not going to turn out to be them. And it's going to turn out to be the Evolve superstars, which I just don't know. They've signed those guys, but I don't know if they're going to be brave enough to pull that trigger. You'd have to say it's probably going to be these NXT talents. I'd love for it to be like underutilized talent. That would be cool. That would be interesting. So, I can't say you've got... I mean, like, front runners would be Mia Yim, Dio Madden, Dominic Dijakovic, and the people that we're seeing at the moment. But, it's just flat. For me, they've really, really messed this up. I think they've invaded too many times. I think when you invade and you trash the place, I think the first time they did it was good, where the guy was cutting the ropes and they were spray painting inside the Performance Center. But that should have been it. They should never have got back into the arena after that. WWE should have stepped up security, stopped Retribution from coming in, and then Retribution needed to find a different way to cause problems. Needed to find a different way. Rather than, I think they've managed to break in like 7-8 times. It's too much. There comes a point where it just becomes so unrealistic, you know? Unless it's going to be talent that's already inside, that's like works for WWE. But then they would surely know who these guys would be by now. Like, someone would see them getting changed, or, you look around and you go, hang on, where's The Miz? Or, hang on, where's Shorty G? Like, you would notice it. There's just too many plot holes for me to get really into it. Too much, man. Eric says, did you just say you don't care about my kids? Retribution. That was another misstep as well, wasn't it? Having them, like, so small. I mean, granted, they've changed it now and added some taller superstars, which they needed to do. But when we first saw them, they were all really small. And that joke about them being kids, even though it doesn't, like, really fit anymore, it has still stuck around, because first impressions are really important, and the first impression wasn't brilliant. Plus also, like, pushing over boxes backstage and destroying a generator and breaking a window. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all a bit... Ugh. And then on Monday, they all get laid flat out by Keith Lee and Drew McIntyre jumping on top of them. And they were, the whole of Retribution were laid on the floor. So, it's DOA for me. It's dead on arrival. My kids' Retribution invaded so well. You're just a hater, says Eric. The Hurt Business would destroy AEW, says Bam. Days Retribution has Rowan's cage written all over it. Well, it's true. Actually, just to cement that comparison, Didn't Drew McIntyre squash what was in Rowan's cage? And then on Monday, he's just squashed Retribution as well when he came over the top with Keith Lee. So if you want to like really concrete cement in that comparison, they have both been squashed by Drew McIntyre. That's quite an interesting point that I'd never considered before. WWE security is John Cena. They are there, but you just can't see them, says James Chadwick. Jeremiah says, Days, can you match the superstar to Retribution? Because I can see Mia Yim and Dijakovic. Yeah, the names are doing the round. They've been doing the rounds for a good few weeks on social media of Dio Madden, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez, Dominic Dijakovic, Shane Thorne. Those are the 5 names that I keep seeing. And I agree. Yeah, I agree. I think you could... It's got to the point now where they're showing so much of their face. You're just like, I don't even know why they're wearing the masks and that. Like, that just is Mia Yim. It is Mia Yim. It's not always been Mia Yim. We know that they've used other people in the past. Like, certainly when they were in the Performance Center, they were using more Performance Center recruits and they were using more NXT talent. I don't think they're relying on those guys as much now that they've moved to the Amway Center. So it's kind of changed a little now. But, yeah, just not really feeling it, if I'm being honest. Jake says, no one really cares about Retribution. I think a lot of people are probably in the same boat as me. We're interested to find out what WWE are going to do with it. So I'm interested to know who's in the group, who's the leader, are we building towards Raw versus Retribution at Survivor Series, yeah? Which I'm sure we are. And I'd like to find out who's in the group, who's the leader. Is there any twist here that's going to be interesting, or is it going to be Mia Yim, Dominic Dijakovic, Dio Matt? Are those the superstars that are going to be used? Because it's a bit... If it does turn out to be them, it is a bit lame. Because we're all sitting here going, that's Mia Yim. Like, we know that's Mia Yim. And even Mia Yim, when she streamed on Twitch or something, said, do not ask me about Retribution. Because so many people are asking her about Retribution. So, in the world of kayfabe, would WWE not be having a word with Mia Yim? You know? Like, surely WWE can't appreciate the fact that their show keeps getting interrupted. And it's so obvious as to who it is. Like, this is what I'm saying. If you actually stop and think about this storyline, the whole thing just crumbles and falls apart. It's an absolute... It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. Could have been done so much better. There's the way Murphy has been booked. The payoff for the Messiah gimmick should definitely be Murphy beating Seth and taking him out when he has to leave for the child, says Febin. Sonny Wolf says, I just noticed the chat is purple. I love purple. Well, there we go. It's purple just for you. Brock R says, Dace, have you ever noticed that Bayley's theme music has got the same bass line as The Rock? Listen when you get a chance. It's crazy how similar it is. Someone got lazy and used the same one. I haven't noticed, actually, no. Although, I would say using The Rock for any foundation, be it promo style, or be it the bass line from his theme song, be it how he was booked, is maybe not the worst idea. Right. We are underway, amazingly. It snuck up on me. I was chatting away. And even though we were counting down saying, there's not long, blah, 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 a few minutes, I am surprised that it's here. So the show has snuck up on us. Or snuck up on me. And so we are beginning. So NXT is starting, and so is AEW. Here we go. We are at Daly's place, of course. A mask on a mask. Oh, can I tell you something that might upset AEW fans, right? JR did his podcast this week. And on his podcast, the topic was Jim Cornette. And I listened to Jim Cornette's podcast, but I also listened to JR's podcast, and I listened to Bruce Pritchard's podcast, and I listened to Eric Bischoff's podcast, and there's quite a few like podcasts that I listen to. It's just they're really good to put on and listen to. Young Bucks have come down and attacked the ref. Don't know why the Young Bucks have come down and done that. Anyway, on the show, JR said that the criticism that Jim Cornette has got of AEW might not be wrong. He kind of said that he's not saying anything that we don't already know. Like, it was so weird. JR basically agreeing with what Jim Ross has been saying. He was like, he's not saying anything revolutionary. He's not saying anything we don't already know. Which, as soon as I heard it, I was like, man, he is surely going to get in trouble for that. Right, looks like we're getting Jurassic Express versus FTR. So, FTR making their way out, and over on NXT, we've got Shotzi making her way out. Shotzi versus Io Shirai. Okay, FTR coming down. Shotzi, I like her jacket. Her jacket's cool. She's got like this leather jacket and red leather. Sleeves are a different colour. One sleeve is green. The other's got multiple colours on it. She looks cool. Days next NXT TakeOver is October 4th. Yes. Mr. Rotella says, I loved grilling JR this week. It was really interesting. JR knows that they've got some flaws. Just listen to it. It's really interesting. It's really interesting. And honestly, parts of it you go, what? Why are you saying that? Well, I don't understand. Why are you saying that? He criticised them. You know where everyone stands on the outside and someone jumps over and basically knocks everyone down, and they do it all the time. Not just on AEW, they do it on NXT as well, right? So this isn't a let's all knock AEW or anything. They do it on both shows. But he was like, that's so stupid. He was like, why are we meant to believe that the heels and the faces are just standing next to each other outside of the ring, waiting to catch someone? And it's like, should you really be saying these things? Like, this is what a lot of people are saying and thinking, but I'm pretty sure you shouldn't be confirming it on your podcast. Because when it happens on AEW, you're going to have to react to it. So, yeah, crazy. Dax has got the best facials. FTR is awesome. Shout out to you, Brent. Hope you are well, buddy. Right, we're underway with FTR taking on Jurassic Express, and we've got Io taking on Shotzi Blackheart. Good match for both shows to start off with, actually. Dave, some people are saying that Wade Barrett could be the leader of Retribution. If he is, could they do a shoot-type promo saying you won't bury me this time? Yeah. I don't know that he is. I think people are saying that because he was obviously in Nexus, but he's only just signed, and Retribution started long before Wade Barrett had signed, so that means they would have started the story with either Wade Barrett in mind, but they never had him, which would be weird, or they would change their plans for it, which they could do, but I don't see Wade Barrett being involved. I think they've signed Wade Barrett for NXT, and I think they've signed him to be commentator for NXT, so do I see him as being the leader for this Retribution group? No. I don't. I really don't. I think people just saying that because he used to be in Nexus. Lovely move by Shotzi there, tying up the arms of Io Shirai. So Shotzi pulling back, really working on the arms and grounding the genius of the sky, Io Shirai. I can tell you that Jurassic Express doing well so far against FTR. If Jurassic Express win, then they get a future title opportunity. So you would have to think that they're going to get the victory. But Jungle Boy working on the arm here of Dax. Back elbow by Dax. Io trying to get to the ropes. Jungle Boy down. Io really twisted, struggling to get her foot on the rope, but she manages to. But Io was being twisted up like a pretzel. Nice takedown by Jungle Boy. I'm 99.9% they will have the draft right before Survivor Series, so it won't be the same members on each brand, says Mr. Tacos. Gabriella says that looks painful. It did look painful. Credit to Shotzi. Lovely springboard moonsault to the outside by Io. And FTR starting to come back into this match now. We've got Cash Wheeler with a bow and arrow on Jungle Boy. It's nice. Io, after that moonsault, going for the cover in the ring, but only getting a 2 count. Dave's, yes, Stu Bennett is listed as NXT commentary. Shout out to you, Sean. I love Jurassic Express, says Tyler. Yes, Lauren, good shout. Right, NXT has gone to commercial break. So NXT's at commercial break, so we can pay a bit of more attention to AEW. So, Jungle Boy in the ring as Dax tags in Cash. Cash offering his knee as Jungle Boy is hurled onto the knee. 1, 2, Tully watching on. Tully watching on. I think Tully is such a great fit as manager for these guys. It's just a surprise that WWE never pulled the trigger on giving them Tully or one of the horsemen, you know? I mean, if you think WWE had Arn Anderson working as a backstage producer and they couldn't put him as the Revival's manager. Like, sometimes there's just some really obvious things that WWE just... I think they can see it, but they just can't see the value in it. But there is value in it. I say WWE. I think Vince can't see the value in it, but it does just make them legit. Do you know what I mean? If a horseman is to basically say, yeah, this is the team. This team gets my authorization. Lovely face first slam on Jungle Boy. 2.9. Days, maybe FTR and the Young Bucks will start a new 4 horsemen. I wouldn't think so. If there was going to be a new 4 horsemen, FTR could. I think FTR would love to be in a new 4 horsemen. I mean, in all fairness, Cody, FTR, and you'd need one more. Who would it be? I mean, that you'd have to have Cody. I think that I know that Dusty wasn't in the 4 Horsemen, but the history. Do you know what I mean? They could be called the Rhodesmen or something. The 4 Rhodesmen. FTR, Cody, and you'd need someone else. Will Hobbs might be quite interesting. He's just signed. He might, although saying that is, he strikes me as a blue chipper. He strikes me as like a baby face of all-time baby faces, so I'm not sure if he would fit very well. Luchasaurus is in the ring now. Big boot. In the corner goes Lucha. Double clothesline. Down goes FTR. Cody, FTR, and MJF. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I don't know if I would have a powerhouse, though. I don't know if I would want the muscle. I feel like what's missing is the Arn Anderson. The bigger guy, you know. The enforcer. Sam says, do you watch NXT? Will you watch NXT tomorrow at 3 p.m.? No. I will try and watch NXT UK, but probably not live. Luchasaurus charging over, and no one in the corner. I said it before. FTR, Cody, Hangman. I don't know. FTR, Cody, and Marco Stunt. That's better. That's the one. That's the one. That's it right there. FTR, Cody, and Marco Stunt. Luchasaurus back into the corner. Big boot to Dax. Clothesline to the back of the head by Jungle Boy. 1, 2. Oh, kick out. Kick out. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'd have a powerhouse. Someone like Miro. Do you know what I mean? But clearly not, because he's dressing like an idiot. Jungle Boy crashing down on Dax. Kick out. Oh, lovely suplex by Dax. We're back with NXT as well. I would have the Hardy team with Pillman Jr. Show him the ropes, then have them feud down the line, says see you in hell, Yowie. FTR is just nowhere near Horseman level. Maybe Cody, but not FTR. They don't have the look. I would have to disagree. Because if you think about Tully and Arn, that for me would be the tag team. 1, 2. It was a crucifix, but he couldn't get it. They're not the leaders. They're not the Ric Flair of the group. The Ric Flair of the group would be Cody. So Cody would be the Ric Flair. You've then got a tag team in there, FTR. But I just feel like you need the enforcer character. But that way, you've got the leader, you've got a team that can go after the tag team titles. They're all about history and heritage, and they've got Tully as a manager. Tully could be the manager of that group. I think they're a perfect fit. They're no nonsense. They don't do flips and stuff like that. They're just fists, aren't they? No flips, just fists. Shotzi has got EO. Lovely suplex. Dragon suplex, I think. Is that a mutilator? I think that's a mutilator. Love. I tell you what, I am so impressed with what I've seen of Shotzi in this match. I need to double check, but I think that was a cattle mutilator. Up on the shoulders, EO. Against the ropes goes Shotzi. Planted face first. Multi-person spot. Yay! That'll please JR. Jungle Boy with a suicide dive. Big boot by Dax. Dax trying to slam Jungle Boy face first into the turnbuckle. Over on NXT, Shotzi with a missile dropkick. Shotzi going for the pin. 2. Nah. Reversed FTR. Oh, some cheating by FTR, and FTR get the win. FTR win. They cheated. That's quite a surprise. If Jurassic Express had won, they would have got a title shot, and I really thought they were winning. But some lovely cheating there by FTR. That's cool. Shotzi. Oh, just getting a 2 count on EO. A great match on NXT. Good match on both shows. Yeah, good match on both shows. Both shows starting off really hot. I enjoyed that match a lot more than I did Kenny and Hangman versus Revival. Up top goes Shotzi. Big strike. Looked like an open palm strike by EO. EO climbing up to the top. Looking for a superplex on Shotzi. Volta, Hangman, Cody, FTR. That would be interesting. Parking lot brawl tonight. Just advert for that over on AEW. EO is placed on the outside. Kick to the chest. Shotzi was looking for something. Couldn't get it. German on the edge of the ring. So, German to Shotzi. Shotzi goes out of the ring. I think that we should be close to going to commercial break. Tully seems like a badass grandpa, says J14. Thebin says, Days, rumor is that Retribution is booked on a per-week basis with no long-term plans. In the end, if it doesn't work out, Vince might make them completely unrevealed. Okay, it's interesting. Matt Hardy is down backstage. That's what Matt Hardy does best. Jericho and Hager are there and they're laughing. Hager says you might want to put some ice on that. Right, EO up top. EO with a moonsault comes crashing down onto Shotzi and she really catches her with her legs. She didn't hit her with her stomach. She caught her with her legs. Really knocked the stuffing out of Shotzi. The ref just checking on Shotzi. And you saw Shotzi just nodding. But I think she definitely got winded there. Because the way that EO landed, she hit her with her legs rather than with her body. Very good opening match. Very good opening match. That might be the best Shotzi match I've ever seen, actually. I thought she was very impressive, putting on some very interesting submission holds there. Both shows starting hot, actually. Very good open for both. Mike says, Days, in Miro's defense, those were very expensive clothes. He looked awful. I don't care if they're the most expensive clothes. You expect him to come in as... I mean, he's one of the biggest signings they've ever had. Like, when he comes in, you'd expect there to be fanfare. You'd expect there to be, look who we've signed. The way they presented it, it was like, it just wasn't a big deal. Do you know what I mean? It was in a best man Kip Sabian segment. And who is it? Who have we signed? Who's coming out? Who's the mystery part? It was so low key that I never expected Miro, so they swerved me. But then when he came out and he just looked like he was in his pajamas. Honestly, it looked like he might as well have walked out with a bowl of cereal. It looked like he was just got up and he was just about to start playing Twitch or something. If he'd come out with some cereal, eating like this, it's just not how you present a top tier talent. I think that's what they were going for. I think they're going for he's a heel and look at his clothes. Like, look how much money he's got or something. I don't know. It's not what I would have done. Okay, we've got AEW at commercial break. We've got NXT just showing us what Tommaso did to Jake Atlas a few weeks ago. That was a brutal beatdown. I love that new mask he's got as well. So Tommaso Ciampa is going to be in action next. So both shows... Oh, no. That show's at commercial. This show has come back. Kenny Omega is on commentary. I wonder how JR felt about his New Japan stint. I don't know. Is this Frankie? It is Frankie. Okay, so this is going to be Frankie Kazarian taking on Hangman Page, and we've got Kenny Omega on commentary. Old school Ciampa, yes please. Ziggler would thrive in NXT, says Kevin. Mike says, I agree, Miro should be a massive brute. Yeah, I mean, it didn't need to be Bulgarian and all of that kind of stuff, you know. It didn't need the exact same gimmick as WWE. I can understand them wanting to do something different, but yeah, I think he still should have been, you know, presented as an absolute killer. Unless they've looked at it and gone, well, we've already got Lance Archer, we've already got Brian Cage. If we do the same with Rusev, is it not just more of the same? But honestly, Rusev's one of the biggest names they've got, so I don't think it would have mattered. Would have been. Could you imagine if they had him turn up in a tank? I mean, still, everyone remembers him in a tank from WrestleMania. Could you imagine if he arrived at All Out in a tank? That would have been cool, man. Do you think Braden Peliza should be in NXT? I don't know who that is. Oh, is that you? Yes. Chalmers says, give Miro this. Have him turn on Kip and turn the switch on. James Webb says, Lance Archer is so corny, he is worse than Braun. I've got to agree. There's been a few things they've done with Lance Archer that I've gone, what? One of them that comes to mind straight away. Do you remember when he wrote on Jake's body and during the promo he ripped Jake's shirt off and it had words on Jake's body and he spun him round and there was more words on the back? I just didn't get that promo at all. At all. And then he lost against Cody for the TNT title. He hasn't really done much since, but now he's won that Battle Royal and now he's going for the big one. I don't know. I kind of feel like he could have been built better, you know. Next week, we've got a #1 contenders battle royal for the women's championship. So that'll be quite interesting. Desmond Troy in the ring on NXT. Taking on Tommaso Ciampa. So no announcement yet as to what they're going to do in regards to Finn. I haven't seen any announcement for TakeOver, so I'm still feeling quietly confident that that's going to be one of William Regal's announcements. Hangman with some big chops to Frankie Kazarian. Tommaso looks so freaking cool in that mask. That mask might be the missing piece for Tommaso. He's so good in the ring, and now he's got a killer entrance look as well. Love it. Brilliant. So, Tommaso's come out. Frankie starting to fire back against Hangman. Big forearm strikes. Driving Hangman back. You got to think there's going to be something go down between Hangman and Kenny. Kenny's out there for some reason. Into the corner goes Hangman. Frankie charging in after him. Hangman puts Frankie to the outside. Nice springboard clothesline. Crossbody to the outside by Hangman as well. Is Finn Balor on NXT tonight? I didn't see anything on the preview, but I think he is. I don't think he's wrestling. Anthony says, Days, I think the major announcement for NXT is that they're going to move to Tuesdays. Oh, I tell you what, I'll be over the moon if that happens. I'll be over the moon. Little roll up there. Kick out by Ciampa. Ciampa not getting his own way here. It's Desmond Troy looking good. Ciampa colliding into him, though. I like the look of this Desmond Troy. He's got amateur wrestler written all over him. Frankie Kazarian hurling Hangman into the corner. Nice. Neckbreaker. Slingshotting Troy into that bottom turnbuckle. See Wrestling, shout out to you. Hope you're well. You'd still have NWA and NXT to watch on a Tuesday. Well, unless they get those technical issues sorted, that won't be much of a decision. Yeah, I would be win for Tommaso there. Win for Tommaso. Yeah, I don't know what. I would imagine that NWA would try and move out of NXT's way. I would guess. Suplex by Kazarian. Didn't Desmond used to be called someone else? He might have, yes, he might have, but I think he's always been a job guy, so not someone that I recognise, to be honest, but he could have. Tommaso grabbing a chair, so the match is over. Tommaso has won. Jake Atlas is here. I could run down and attack you from behind, but that's not who I am. It looks like Tommaso's going to be working with Jake Atlas now. Jake Atlas says, I'm going to show you how dangerous I can be. That's what Jake Atlas needed to do. He needed to show us a bit of an edge to him. Tommaso laughs and shakes his head. Jake Atlas keeps coming down in his game show host sparkly jacket, and it doesn't quite work for me. I don't need to see a wrestling game show host, or do I? Here's Drake Maverick. Drake says that he hasn't heard from Killian Dane yet. We're still underway with Hangman and Kazarian on AEW. Hangman going against the ropes. They both clothesline each other. Coming up next. Finn Balor exclusive interview coming up next. Right, kick to the midsection by Kazarian. Hangman against the ropes, and this time he gets a clothesline. Down goes Kazarian. Daze, did you see that Ciampa has got dreads on his beard that say KO? I didn't notice. No, I didn't. Maybe John says maybe he thinks he can join Tyra Banks as her co-host on Dancing with the Stars if he dresses as the part. Maybe. I liked seeing a little bit of edge to him there, though, for Jake Atlas. That was better. I don't want to see him beat into Tommaso Ciampa, though. But hopefully it'll be a decent match next week. So, NXT has gone to commercial break. We're a quarter of the way through the shows already. And we've got a real battle here between Frankie Kazarian and Hangman Page. Hangman catching Kazarian. Fall away slam. Both guys are down on AEW. And Hangman kipping up. Against the ropes goes Hangman. Lovely! Shooting star press by Hangman Page. But could only get the 2. 30 minutes in. I know. Young Rider says, Days, I think that was the best botch I've ever seen because it made Io's moonsault look so much more brutal. That's because it was so much more brutal. The way that her legs snap round. Like, they really land with some force. That's why the ref asked her, are you okay? And Shotzi was like, yes. But she wasn't. I think that hurt her soul, let alone her body. Yeah, it did look brutal. I should imagine there's a few apologies backstage right now. AEW has been pretty generic and boring, says Tall Paul. I thought the first match was good. I wasn't expecting that result. I think this match is decent as well. Against the ropes. Frankie looking for a backslide. No. Both guys getting up to their feet. Page looking to reverse and go for a backslide of his own, is he? No, flips over the top. Kazarian round the back. Oh! And prettier. 2. Shoulder up. Is there a time limit here? I feel like this match has been going for a little while. RJ Madma, shout out to you. Anthony, Days, will you do a reaction to one of the draft episodes of Raw? Mine would be 020408. What, like a watch along for one? Maybe. It's not, I don't know that it would be high on the agenda. Death Valley Driver by Hangman just gets a 2. 34 minutes have gone real quick. Do you like Finn Balor? I do like Finn Balor. This is ridiculous. Jay the Goat, shout out to you, my friend. Kenny sounds like a jealous ex on commentary, says Esteban. I don't like time limits for AEW. I think they're necessary, if I'm being honest. It's not like you get time limit draws all that often, so I don't mind them once in a while. But they can't keep fighting forever. And realistically, there would be time limits. There's time limits in all sports. I can't think of any sport that doesn't have a time limit. Finn Balor talking about what he's done in the past, like meeting fans and public appearances. The future's a lot different. I made the brand. Balor saying this is the most important title. Form a cue. The line starts here. You better look both ways before you cross the Prince. It's a good little promo. Okay, decent promo. Austin Theory. We're still... Here comes Mr. OTT. Austin Theory. They should call him that. Mr. OTT, Austin Theory. His selling was a real treat. Last time we saw him when he took on Bronson Reed. Not sure who he's taking on tonight. Hangman going for the pin on Kazarian, and he gets it. Hangman getting the 3. Right, so Theory has come down for NXT. Days, it doesn't make any sense for people like Mia and Dijakovic to be in Retribution. I mean, is there realistically anything for them to take revenge on? Only if they feel like they should have been called up earlier. Only if they feel like they're being held back, but... Austin Theory getting some promo time. Austin Theory issuing a challenge. Kenny has walked away from commentary. Here's Kushida. Kushida's coming down. Love Kushida. Hey, how about Kushida? I would love Kushida versus Balor, but it's going to be Kushida Velveteen Dream, isn't it? Kushida drawing a line in the ring. Hangman grabbing a few beers to celebrate his victory. Okay, so Austin Theory versus Kushida. I love aggressive Kushida, says Jeremy. I agree. I love Kushida, and it's great to see that he's finally being used more. Whacking says, Days, imagine if they do Drew versus Roman versus Finn versus Volta at Survivor Series. Be interesting. Be good. It'd just be nice to get Volta over, but... just don't know when they're going to be able to do that. Okay, MJF making his way out now on AEW. So we've got Austin Theory against Kushida, and we've got MJF making his way down. Not sure who MJF is facing, but he is apparently in action. Theory just getting a 1 count on Kushida. And MJF has come down to ringside. I don't know if AEW is at commercial break, but MJF is just interacting with some of the superstars at ringside, asking them to kiss his ring. I love this version of Kushida taking no poop, says James Chadwick. I agree. Duck underneath by Kushida. Lovely kicks coming in. Nice strike Against the ropes goes Theory. Hip toss. Nice. Into a drop kick. Kushida is so impressive. Against the ropes goes Kushida. Collides into Austin Theory. Austin Theory outside the ring. They've got to move more with Kushida. He's such a big talent. Up over the top to the outside. Theory moves out the way. Kick to the midsection. Oh, nasty! Theory throws a big left hand. Ends up punching the ring post. Kushida slamming Theory down on the outside of the ring. I love Kushida's ring attire as well. It's so different. But it looks cool. Stomping away there by Kushida. Onto the face of Austin Theory. Oh, Kimura. And Austin Theory taps. And Kushida not letting go straight away. This is part of that more vicious Kushida. The ref having a word and Kushida wanting to fight a little bit longer. Love it. Love it. I was expecting Velveteen Dream to get involved, but I think they're really selling the attack by Kushida last week, and that's very clever. They're really building him up. He's got to be on the verge of something big, Kushida. It's 2 weeks in a row now that he's looked very impressive. Good match, says Brax the Beast. Kushida wins. New side of Kushida. Young Rider says, Days, do you think Kenny's run in AEW has been underwhelming? He had so much potential, but the Adam Page stuff has been good. I don't know that he's been underwhelming. I think he's done the job he's been asked to do. I think they wanted him to get out of the way so that they could build up other stars. You don't need to build up Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is a made man. They put the title on Jericho, did a few things with Kenny. They had him in a feud with Pac, but they decided that the right way forward was to put him in that tag team, and it worked. My favourite match of the year is one of his matches, so MJF looking good here, getting a squash win. That took all of 20 seconds. Beat a job guy. Sidney Dean or someone he's just beaten. Like in all of 20 seconds, MJF. But anyway, cut a long story short. Yeah, really impressed with how they've used Kenny, actually. Because now that he's split, now you can have the cleaner. Everyone's wanted the cleaner. Everyone's wanted Kenny that you see in New Japan. You can have it now. Now that tag team has split up, now they can pull the trigger. And as you said, the stuff between him and Hangman has been good. And you know you're going to get that match. You know you're getting that match. MJF is a very honest man. He's still talking about Moxley. He's talking about how Moxley cheated. Right now, I should be undefeated. Butterspark says, this is how Kushida should have been originally booked. True. NXT hasn't been so good lately, says See You in Hell, Yowie. I don't think they're going to announce NXT to Tuesday tonight, saying it's the first night back and they should have done it last week during Super Tuesday, says Mr. Tacos. Well, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to those announcements. I'm expecting it to be an announcement about TakeOver and who Balor's opponent will be. MJF says he is the uncrowned champion of AEW. You're going to announce my new title right now to the whole world. So he's trying to get Justin Roberts to announce him as the uncrowned AEW champ. So he's saying to Justin Roberts, announce it with your chest, otherwise I'm sending Wardlow. Was that really the best Justin Roberts could do? He was like, I want you to say it with all your heart, all your chest, and it still sounded really flat. We got Johnny and Candice. Women's Battle Royal next week. We know about that. Johnny's looking at new TVs. Okay, so we've got two promos at the same time. Days, we are streaming the 1 hour AEW on Tuesday after the playoffs. Probably. Right, Breezango are coming out. That was just a short little. I couldn't cope with. I can't cope with two promos at the same time. I just can't cope. My brain just starts to shut down. I can't cope with trying to listen to two shows. I hate it when they do that. Like, following two matches is hard enough, but following two promos is impossible. So, we've got Breezango coming out there wearing their classic fashion police attire. So, the tag champs are here, and I believe the tag titles will be on the line. There's a little, this is kind of nice. I like Taz is showing us what Ricky Starks does. Showing us some of his moves, which is kind of interesting. It's a little bit similar to like the Timothy Thatcher stuff, where he like gives us wrestling classes. Right, Breezango versus Imperium. Right, no waiting around by Imperium. They've just come running down to the ring. So we're underway with Breezango Imperium. We got Eddie Kingston in there with Lucha Bros. Is this another promo? He says he never lost the Battle Royal. Eddie Kingston says I should be getting some up. Okay, so we're underway with Breezango against Imperium for the Tag Team Championships. It's about time Breezango had those tag titles. MJF said everyone around here is in some sort of faction or stable, and then said that this lone wolf would consider joining a new stable. Thank you, Daniel. I did hear him talking about factions and all of that. We are agents of chaos, says Eddie Kingston. Butcher and Blade have grabbed some people from the crowd. All right, they're just Lucha Bros. That was in your face, says Eddie Kingston. Is that a reference to Raw? So they've just grabbed some of the talent that's at the ringside, and they're just beating up these guys. Okay, well, they're just beating up some random people. Over on NXT, we've got this Tag Team Championship match, and Imperium are in control. Fandango in there with Bartel. Nice jawbreaker. Fandango slumps over the ropes. He's in position for a 619. You're not going to get it, though. Eddie Kingston said, in your face, says Mike. Esteban says, Penta has been doing the eye patch mask for a few weeks now. Is that a homage to Mysterio? Right, where's this got promo going? Third point. Here we go. Give us something. Blade. You need to get your house in order. Yeah, what does that mean? Has that got something to do with... That must have something to do with his wife. That must have something to do with Ali. Eddie Kingston says, we've got our house together. It's time for you to get yours together. So, I feel like we're heading towards, like, the Nightmare Collective or whatever they're called. The Nightmare Family. Taking on this group now. Is that the next feud? Ali on a pole match? I don't know. AEW goes to commercial break, and we've still got Imperium in control against Breezango. Days, the Fashion Police will be proud of the French tuck. I'd love to see them do a little backstage thing on Raw. That would be good, wouldn't it? Have the NXT Tag Champs just showing their appreciation to tuck. They always have to take a shot at WWE. AEW wants to be known as a great company, not where indies and former WWE stars go. So please stop taking shots at WWE. Who cares, honestly? Days Kingston's stable reminds me of the Hurt Business. Mr. Taco says, I could see a cinematic match between LeRae and Tegan Nox. Oh, that's a good shout, actually. I didn't consider that. That might be interesting. Eddie Kingston can cut good promos, says Mike. Young Ryder says, Days, is it me or does Imperium seem very bland? From their attire to how they look, they are just so generic. I think they're good wrestlers. I kind of get a little bit of a Revival vibe from them. So I think if they're not doing all the flips and they're not doing all of that kind of stuff, they're both good wrestlers. And they tend to have good matches and they work very well as a team. So yeah, I kind of get a Revival vibe, which is no bad thing really. I like Imperium. But I think you have to like that kind of wrestling, you know. Jay Whitefeather, shout out to you, dude. Butcher and Blade are in their Backstreet Boys attire, says J14. They are, yes. They are that white attire. That's trendy hipster attire. Maybe a house brawl. That might be a lot of fun, actually. That might be a lot of fun if they do a house brawl. Heather says, no flipping way would Cornette be caught dead on an AEW show. No, I don't think he would either. question. What was that question? William says, is it icky for adults in chat to talk intimately about bedroom lives? I would say that's icky, yes. I would say that's a good use of the word icky. Right, we've got Private Party, which I think is basically what William Hensey was talking about. We've got Private Party making their way out. Who are they taking on tonight again? Private Party. I don't know. I didn't have a Private Party match written down, actually. So I don't know who they're facing. People in the crowd jumping around, celebrating, having a good time. Okay, NXT is at commercial break, so there's nothing to tell you about what's happening there, but we are still underway with Imperium against Breezango. Over on AEW, we've now got Private Party that have come out, but I'm not too sure who they're facing at the moment. Of course, still to come. We've got Miro and Kip Sabian. We've got Thunder Rosa against Ivelisse for the NWA Women's Championship. We've got Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. We got Lance Archer and Moxley. So we've still got that to come. Jericho and Hager. Jericho with his jacket with spikes all over it. Here we go. Okay, so Private Party against Jericho and Hager. There's Danny Jordan in the crowd singing along to... everyone's singing along. That must be in his contract or something. Show everyone in the crowd singing along and loving his song. Judas in My Mind. People loving that song. A 6-man match for next week. Moxley and 2 others versus Archer and 2 others. Right, we are back underway with NXT. And as soon as we get to the next commercial break, it will be time for the halftime scores. Who do you think will win? I think Breezango are going to win here, and I'm not sure, actually. I would imagine Inner Circle. Ric Flair is pregnant. That's amazing news. Beautiful news. It's just not the same anymore. His entrance at Revolution was insane, says RJ Madma. I thought Moxley Archer was next month. It is next month, but we should be hearing from both of them tonight. The crowd can't sing. It sounds better with 100% crowd, says Monica. It's a good song, says Esteban. Can I ask a question? Yes. Rated R. Days, have we seen the announcements yet? No. No William Regal yet. Lovely single leg Boston Crab by Tyler Breeze. So these are the 2 matches that are going to take hour 1 into hour 2. Tyler Breeze has got Eichner up on his shoulder, but Eichner reversing. He's now got Tyler Breeze on his shoulder. Slams him down. Looking for a moonsault, but can't quite get it. Fandango has popped up. Breezango with a super kick. Lovely work. Eichner goes down. 1, 2. Bartel just makes the save. Just makes the save. Start thinking about your halftime scores. We'll do halftime scores in a second. I think both shows have been fairly solid, but I don't know that there's really been anything spectacular. They've both just been kind of average. been good. I mean, I wouldn't say either show has been a disaster, but hasn't really been anything that's really grabbed me, you know? I think my favourite match might be the EO Shotzi match so far, but the FTR match was very good at the start of AEW as well. Tyler Breeze gets suplexed down by Eichner. 1, 2. Fandango makes the save this time. Fandango makes the save. Boom. Who do you think's going to win, Jey Uso or Roman? Roman. Mr. Taco says, imagine a new title or tournament for the announcement. Tournament? Maybe. They're doing a battle royal for the women, so I don't think you can do it for the men. Little bit of a botch there. Fandango with a crossbody trying to take Eichner to the outside. He didn't quite achieve it. Eichner ended up falling down in the ring and rolling out of the ring, but still ended up going out of the ring. So nice save there by Eichner. Bartel has got Breeze. Fandango trying to get Breeze down. Nice super kick. And again, both of Imperium down. I'm sticking with NXT because the match has been going longer, so I'm expecting it to end sooner. Fandango going up top. Looking for a leg drop, but Eichner moved out the way. Bartel with a big boot. Eichner from behind. German. Release German. Here we go. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up. Bit of frustration sitting in. I would love to see Cowboy James Storm and Bobby Roode get back together as Beer Money, says Michael Dukes. That would be good. Day Charlotte is not pregnant, says Sean Reset. Oh, I didn't think she was. I thought the chat said Ric Flair was pregnant. Alex says, I was in the Thunderdome, but I got kicked out. I feel bad for myself. Why did you get kicked out, dude? Chop coming in by Fandango. Driving, is it Eichner? Yeah, Eichner into the corner. Looking for a Tornado DDT, and he gets it. So, Tornado DDT by Fandango. Trying to get over to Tyler Breeze. Trying to make that hot tag. And in comes Bartel. In comes Breeze. Breeze over the top. Big forearm strike. Down goes Bartel. Went for a clothesline, but missed. Uppercut by Bartel. Against the ropes. Nice Inzaguri kick. Bartel back to the corner. In comes Eichner. Ah, plants him. Big kick. Here we go. Oh, drop kick. He knocks. Oh, it's quite a sequence. Nice little roll up. 2, 3, and there we go. Breezango retain. Breezango retaining those tag team championships. It's Tyler Breeze with the pin. It's all right. It's all right. Over on AEW, Jericho throwing Cassidy into the ring. Breezango wins, yeah. Xavier scores for a second. We're just waiting for a break unless that's coming now. Elbow drop by Jake Hager. Little advert for NXT UK. Obviously, they've lost some superstars from NXT UK. There's no Ligero anymore. For example, Travis Banks has gone as well. Tomorrow, 3 Eastern, 8 British summertime. Okay, we are at commercial break for NXT, so get your halftime scores in. What do you think of both shows so far? I think they're both quite average. I think there's some good wrestling, but I don't know if there's much more than that. But what do you think? Get your scores in. See you in hell, Yowie says AEW 7, NXT 7.5. Monica says NXT 7, AEW 6.25. John says NXT 8.5. J14 says 6.5, NXT 6.5. Future Compilation says both are 7. Sandman 882 says NXT 9. Gabriella giving it a 7. NXT looks good, says Wrestling Days fan. Brendan says 7.5. Brax the Beast says NXT 8, AEW 5. Brock Williams says AEW 8, NXT 7. Kennedy says 5.9. Both 6.25. Yeah, there's a lot of 7s. Shaquem says AEW 5, NXT 5. RJ Madma says NXT 7, AEW 5. Brendan says 77.5 out of 10. QI Gaming says no school tomorrow. Yes, sir. Shout out to you, dude. I can feel that excitement. Mr. Rotella says AEW 5. Trini says NXT 8. 6.16 out of 10 for both shows, says John. Heather says, it's a good song, Days. I've got that Fozzy CD in my car. I'm pretty sure he meant that Charlotte could be pregnant. Oh, well, I took it as Ric Flair. William Hensey says, I'm giving it 5 tucks out of 10. Oh, 5 half tucks out of 10 full tucks. Days 10 out of 10. AEW 10. NXT 9, says Edwin. Virtual school. Ooh, didn't even know that was a thing. Virtual school, Tyler. AEW 6.7, NXT 8. That's very well thought out. AEW 8, WWE 7.5. As the late Dick Clark might say, neither show has been a good beat, and you can't dance to either. Oh, I like that. Shout out to Dick Clark. Don't know why he is late. Perhaps he overslept. Febin says, Days, do you think there is a real fun house, like a real physical house, where one can enter and see a friendly-looking fun house set, and there might be a room of nightmares where one gets trapped? Do I think there's a real physical house that contains a room of nightmares where you can get trapped? No, I do not. Jessie is here. We've seen Jessie. I like Jessie. She's good. She was in Retribution for a week, for a hot minute. Indy Hartwell, is it? Xia Li. Right, Jessie versus... Oh, they're a team. They're teaming. Jessie and Xia Li. Who are they facing? They're quite an interesting team. We're still underway with Jericho and Hager against Private Party. I can't see this match beat in AEW, if I'm being honest. Okay, so Xia Li and Jessie teaming together. Who are you facing? I don't know who you're facing. Casey and Caden. Oh, there we go. I like Casey Catanzaro. Raw, 0 out of 10. NXT, 3 out of 10. AWE, 10 out of 10, says Ivan. Private Party is going to take the L tonight, says Sean. Kristen says 8 out of 10 for NXT, 7 out of 10 for AEW. Jericho going for the back elbow. Private Party. Oh, nope. Against the ropes. I think it's Cassidy with a springboard stunner. Springboard stunner on Jericho. But yeah, not going for that pin. Rolling out the ring. We've got 49 minutes to go, my friends. 49 minutes. And again, just no talking points. I hope that this William Regal announcement is going to be somewhat tasty. Jericho trying to get back into this match. Judas effect, there it is. Look at the selling. Cassidy's hand behind his back was flapping away like a fish. That selling was crazy. It's kind of good. I liked it. I don't know that Jericho liked it. He's jumped right back down. He's pounding away now on Cassidy. So Jericho and Hager win. And Jericho puts on the walls. It's a Boston Crab. Cassidy tapping away. In comes Quinn. Pele kick. Well, Jericho and Hager win. Hager grabbing Jericho, trying to help him out of the ring after he just got Pele kicked. Best friends are going to be in the main event, says Ivan. Do you think Chris Jericho will make a WWE return? Maybe one day to go into the Hall of Fame. To count, Jesse was down. What's up with Ray's daughter now hanging around with Murphy? Well, I don't know if she is hanging around with him, but she certainly showed him some sympathy and teased that she was going to be in some kind of relationship with him. Or there was some connection there. So we'll have to wait and see what they do with it. But yeah, I am expecting some. Xia Li grabbing Casey. Knee strikes coming in by Xia Li. It seems like Rey Mysterio was like, I'll re-sign with you, Vince, yeah? But you've got to give my kids a job. Like, I want Dominic to have some matches, and I want you to do something with my daughter. Because at the moment, she's just sitting at home practicing tucking in her shirt. And Vince is like, God damn, pal. We'll put her in Murphy. Nice straight jacket stretch here by Jesse. Into the corner goes Casey. Casey moving out of the way. Jesse colliding into the corner. In comes Caden Carter. In comes Xia Li. Some nice quick strikes here by Caden. Driving Xia Li back. Caden goes down. Nice drop kick by Caden. She has got some fire. AEW at commercial break at the moment. Caden against the ropes. Nice little roll up. Nice kick. Good work. Jesse coming in. Duck underneath by Caden. Super kick. Jesse goes down. Jesse rolls out of the ring. In comes Casey. Xia Li finds herself on her own. Crucifix. Big kick. Into the pin. Nice tag work. 2, 3. And Caden and Casey get the victory. I wonder if they'll compete for the tag titles. I wonder if we'll get, like, Riot Squad. I should imagine Riot Squad are going to win at Clash of Champs. So we could get Riot Squad facing these two, or they might keep it on Shayna and Nia. But I feel like they're building these two up to get a shot at the women's tag titles. And we know that the women's tag champs can go to NXT. So, interesting. Sad rumor regarding Tuck and Murphy. Casey and Caden are awesome, says Sean. Esteban says, I thought Casey was let go. She was let go. But she came back. Well, I think she left rather than was let go. I think she took some... I don't know if she left or took some time away. Xia Li walking away. Very frustrated at how that match went down. Little advert for Moxley and Archer. We got Drake Maverick backstage. He's found Killian Dane. Pretty boring AEW main event, says Ryan. Do we have women's tag champs for NXT? They are just the tag champs. Shayna and Nia, isn't it? Here we go. Look at this. Now we can get excited. Ivelisse taking on Thunder Rosa for the NWA Women's Championship. Yes, 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 yes. I'm here for this. This is the match I was looking forward to tonight. Out of all of the matches, this is the one. I want to hear her music. Here's Thunder. Her opponent. Thunder Rosa's record 1-1. First Mexican-born NWA Women's Champion. I don't like Thunder Rosa's theme. It's just like rah, 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 shouting and screaming. It doesn't fit the character. I don't like that music at all. I don't get it. Okay, well, we got Hikaru Shida in the crowd. This is for the NWA Women's Championship. And what's Aubrey doing holding the belt like that? Give it some respect, Aubrey. Okay, Ivelisse against Thunder Rosa. This should be a great match. Rosa with some quick strikes. Goes for a kick. Nice forearm strike by Ivelisse. Nice hip toss. Replied by Thunder Rosa. They both went to hip toss each other. Spinning round. Face to face. NXT's at commercial break. Oh, that was vicious by Ivelisse. Oh, look at that by Rosa. Man, some big, big strikes. All of her stuff is so snug. Throwing some potatoes there. Up top. Arm drag. Against the ropes goes Thunder Rosa looking for head scissor takedown. Couldn't quite get all of it, but she's happy with it. And I like the fact that Ivelisse managed to kick Thunder Rosa there because she didn't get all of it. And I like the fact that Ivelisse has shown that she didn't get all of it. In the corner goes Ivelisse. Thunder Rosa charging after big boot by Ivelisse. Ivelisse going up to the middle rope looking for head scissors takedown of her own. But even that was a bit messy. But again, Thunder Rosa up to her knee. Smile on her face showing that she didn't get all of it. Oh, she got all of that. Look at that drop kick. Wow. I mean, it comes to summer when a drop kick can impress you. But Ivelisse just went flying across the ring. beautiful kick to the face by Thunder Rosa. That really is what makes Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa really throws in her shots. We've seen a beautiful drop kick. We've seen a massive right hand. Now she's got Ivelisse on her back. Diamante getting involved. Do you want Diamante? You're going to ruin this match? Looked like it was a bit of a backslide. Knee strike there by Ivelisse. Going for the cover. 2. Only gets a 2 count. Thunder rolling out of the ring. And we've got a camera on Hikaru Shida. Ivelisse jumping out the ring. Going for a big kick. Thunder Rosa is out by the ring post at the moment. Big forearm strike by Thunder. Grabbing Ivelisse, smashing her into the side of the ring. Going for a big chop. Oh, big chop back. Love her facials as well, man. Thunder Rosa's facials are brilliant. To the midsection. Driving her back against the ring. Puts Thunder Rosa up into the ring. Ivelisse jumping into the ring as well. So, some pretty hard-hitting stuff outside the ring. 2 count. Don't forget, this is for the NWA Women's Championship. NWA Women's Championship on the line. Over on NXT, we got Drake Maverick, Killian Dane taking on Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish. Here is Thunder Rosa. 2. Only gets a 2 count. So, Maverick and Dane versus Strong and Fish. It's a Maverick Dane versus a Strong Fish. Into the corner goes Thunder Rosa. Trying to throw some shots to the midsection. Hard uppercut. Snapping down Ivelisse. Why is Ivelisse just... I don't understand. I don't understand. Ivelisse just sat there and she looked really like... She just kind of sat there waiting for something to happen. She was like... And then Thunder Rosa put the full Nelson on. But Ivelisse just looked so bored during this match. There was a moment where Ivelisse is like... Just sitting there, right? What are we doing next? Let's wait for the full Nelson. Right, there's the full Nelson. Now I'm going to get out of the full Nelson. Do better. Do better, Ivelisse. Thunder Rosa looking really good. Giving some really good facial expressions. Doing some really good work. Firing in some big shots. And at times... I'm sorry to say that Ivelisse has just looked a bit bored. Knees being exchanged between the two of them right now. Again, Ivelisse just sorting out her hair. Thunder Rosa grabbing Ivelisse's leg. I got to tell you, straight up, after this match, if I was in charge of AEW, I'd be like, thank you very much for everything you've done. We won't be needing your services anymore. Done, mate? You done? Just constantly messing with her hair because it's going in her face. So what? Looked bored waiting for a Nelson, full Nelson to get applied. Thanks, but you're not quite to the standard that we need. And it is rare for me to say that. Double knees by Thunder. Kick to the midsection. Ivelisse goes down against the ropes. Sits there. While she's sitting there, I'll just get my hair out of my... She is trash. She is Trash! This girl. I haven't seen much of Evilly. She hasn't been around too much. I think she's been on Dark quite a bit. Kick out by Thunder. Grabbing the hair of Thunder. Looking to snap Evilly's back. And again, roll through. Nice. Into like a bank statement. It's like a crossface. Evilly's not too close to the rope. Oh, now she is. Now she is. Thunder just pulled her back and she went over to the ropes. Missile dropkick. Not really watching NXT. I'm trying to watch this match. Holds on. Evilly's onto her feet. Kick to the midsection. Evilly's outside the ring. Forearm strike. Going up top, but forearm strike by Thunder. Valley driver. 1, 2. Kick out by Evilly's. Thunder grabbing Evilly's. Back elbow. Taking down Thunder. Nice kick there by Evilly's. 1, 2. Kick out by Thunder. That's better. That's better. That's better. Nice little roll through. Nice kick. Good facial expressions. Good shocked expression by Evilly's there. Forearm strike to the back. Evilly's against the ropes. Big kick to the midsection by Thunder. Scooping up Evilly's. Lands on her feet. Kick to the back of the legs. Against the ropes. Grabbed by Thunder. Picks her up. Looking for a pile driver. Pile driver. Pile driver. Pile driver. 1, 2, 3. Thunder Rosa wins. That match for me wasn't as good as her match against Serena Deeb, but I don't think it's Thunder Rosa's fault. For me, there's just a few moments there where Evilly's has took me out of that match. Rather than it building and you getting lost in it, I'm sitting here going, what is she doing? What is Evilly's doing? Diamante attacking Thunder from behind. Evilly's grabbing that NWA Women's Championship. Here's Shida jumping in. Shida hurls Diamante. I like how Shida's wearing that belt. She's got the belt over her shoulder like that. Shida giving the belt to Rosa. It's a real sign of respect between the two of them there. Not a bad match. Not a bad match at all. It wasn't Rosa's fault. She did everything right, says Monica King. Poor work rate by Evilly's. Why does Hikaru Shida just save people now? She saved Tay Conti the other week. Right, we're backstage. We're seeing Rusev lifting some weights. Is he... Miro was like, just let me get into the ring. Let me devour somebody. Are they making fun of last week? He looks awesome, by the way. He looks absolutely jacked. I mean, what we just saw there looks so much better than what we saw last week. He looked really good. Miro is money. He looks awesome. He looks ripped. I'm gonna deduct points for showing Miro's shirt again. He wasn't wearing a shirt. Fun fact: AEW was named after the king of hot sauce. I'm about to shove my head in a wood chipper. I'm sick of my hair, says William Hensey. Good Miro promo, says David Paul. I'm off work with a broken ankle. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Shout out to you, see you in hell. I've broken my ankle. I had to have pins in it as well. So, I literally have felt your pain. Shout out to you. We've got 28 minutes to go. Well, at least WWE has got brass rings. Miro would be lucky to get a few plastic ones in AEW, says C Wrestling. Days, I'm renewing my membership tomorrow. Shout out to you, WWE Clay Sculptures. Wrestling Days fan says, these commercials are awful. It'll never be Rusev Day for Miro. Right. I didn't even see who won that match. I don't know what happened on NXT. William Regal having a word with Killian Dane. Oh, the match is still going. Killian Dane left Drake Maverick. Okay, so I haven't missed the result. So Drake Maverick is in a handicap match, but I think Killian Dane's going back out. We still haven't heard William Regal's announcement. So Drake Maverick thrown out of the ring. UFC on Saturday, yes. What does towel mean? What do you mean, bud? Killian Dane helping Drake Maverick up, throwing Drake into the ring. Killian's walking away. He didn't need to say anything then, did he? He didn't need to say anything. Roderick Strong was like making fun of Killian Dane. They throw Drake Maverick to the entranceway. Killian Dane's not interested. I do like how they're presenting Killian Dane. They are doing something with him here, and I do like that. I like the fact he's just out for himself. I really appreciate that. Just smashing Roderick Strong. The Beast of Belfast. Throwing in some big strikes to the midsection. He is just rampaging. Chair to the midsection. So, DQ win for Drake Maverick and Killian Dane. Big kick, down goes Bobby Fish. Roderick Strong gets thrown over the top rope. Lance Archer's here on AEW with Jake the Snake. Right. Okay, so Jake the Snake promo. Killian Dane knocks down Drake Maverick. Good. Days, Killian should dress like the one-man gang and be renamed the One-Man Dane. It is not safe to be in the AEW crowd, apparently, says Jennifer. Killian Dane walking away. we must be getting close to the point where it's main event time for both shows. That'll be Damian Priest and Timothy Thatcher. And Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. Ciampa attacking Jake Atlas from behind. Does this mean we're not going to get that match next week? Oh. Kyle O'Reilly getting in Tommaso Ciampa's face. Ciampa says, I will see you next week. Why was Kyle O'Reilly sticking up for Jake Atlas? It's a bit weird, isn't it? So, main event, we are building towards that. A Kyle O'Reilly face turn. It's a bit strange. It's a bit strange. Jake just doesn't look right without a snake, says John. Crazy Ciampa. Crazy Ciampa. Jennifer Lockhart says, well, Kingston had his group attack the crowd. And now Archer just yanked one over the barricade. Poor jobbers. Taz is saying to Lance Archer, when you win, you will give Brian Cage the first shot. I can't tell who in Undisputed are heel or face. Lance saying that AEW is going to have a killer new champion. Cole and Riley face. Strong and Fish still heels. That is interesting. My favourite food is Turkish Delight. Mox in the building. Yeah. We've got Moxley's entrance music playing. Here he is. Moxley's got a microphone in his hands as well. Didn't Mox already beat Archer? No, he beat Cage, but I don't believe he's faced Archer in AEW yet. They've been teasing O'Reilly as a face for a while, says Robin. Starks and Brian Cage attacking Moxley. Ricky Starks laying it in on John Moxley. NXT's at commercial break, but when we come back, it should be main event. They just threw Moxley inside an empty crate, and the crate just exploded apart. Is that Will Hobbs? Will Hobbs! Will Hobbs with a chair! I really like this Will Hobbs guy. Will Hobbs came running out of nowhere with a chair, and he's chasing Brian Cage and Ricky Starks away. I like Will Hobbs. I'm a Will Hobbs guy. I'm a Will Hobbs stan. That's cool. I like him. Is the Regal thing the main event? If so, the announcement will be huge. I think that Damian Priest, Tim Thatcher's the main event. I'm expecting the Regal thing to be next. Is that going to be a tag match? Well, we're going to need a third partner. Moxley is asking Darby Allin to join him and Will Hobbs. Hobbs, Allin, Moxley versus Archer, Kate. Oh, here we go. Right. Gauntlet Eliminator. 2 men are going to start in the ring. Every 4 minutes, another competitor enters. Only way to be eliminated is pinfall submission. Last man standing will be the number 1 contender against Finn Balor. So who is in it? But who's in it? So, number 1 contender battle royal for the women. And a gauntlet eliminator, which I like better. I like much better than a straight gauntlet match. I saw Cameron Grimes. I saw Bronson Reed. But apparently there's 5 people in the match. Who else did people see? I love that stipulation. I do as well. I do as well. The only disappointing thing is I didn't get a chance to see who the 5 men are, but I did see Cameron Grimes and I did see Bronson Reed. But I didn't see the others. Days, the Battle Royal next week was Regal's first announcement. Isn't that an elimination chamber minus the chamber? Yeah, it is. But I don't think they can really call it an elimination chamber minus the chamber match. And also, like the other people aren't standing at ringside, are they? They'll just come down. But yeah, it's a good comparison. Is it a Rumble gauntlet? Kind of. I think the elimination chamber minus the chamber was a good comparison. But I like that because we was talking about gauntlet matches before, and I said I don't like the fact that if you're number 1, you've got to go through so many people, whereas now you don't. You've just got to survive. Basically, you could get down to the final 2. Everyone else could get pinned around you, so it feels a little more fair. Still sucks if you're number 1 or number 2, but it still sucks if you're number 1 or number 2 in a Rumble. You know, so I like it. I think it's much better than a straight traditional gauntlet match. Okay, we are running out of time. They really haven't given us a lot of time for this main event. Over on AEW, we've got Best Friends versus Santana and Ortiz. Okay, so there we go. We got 16 minutes. That's all. Damian Priest and Timothy Thatcher have made their way down. And both got... I do like Timothy Thatcher's jacket. Look at the smile on Damian Priest's face. Priest has got to retain here. Well, I say that, and I do say that. Now that we know what's going to happen with Balor, if Priest isn't going to face Balor, then he's got to keep this belt. It won't do anything for Priest to take it off him so soon. He's not had it that long. So, yeah, I'd keep it on him. Right, we've got Santana and Ortiz. They've come dressed as mime artists. Why have they come dressed as mimes? Right, some wooden boards sticking out the back of a truck. This feels a lot like Velveteen Dream Adam Cole from In Your House, where the cars are in a circle. So the cars are in a circle. We got people out there as well. And we're underway with Santana and Ortiz taking on Best Friends. I can see why this is the main event now. They're fighting for the honor of Trent Mom Sue. They're fighting for the honor of Sue. One of the mime artists has been put in a bonnet, and the bonnet has been slammed down on him by Trent. It is good having the crowd out there. I can see Puff. Is that his name? Puff? Trent with a scent on top of the bonnet. Damian Priest rolling up Timothy Thatcher. Priest in white. He's got like a Rhea Ripley vibe. I'm sure they compare ring attires. I feel like their ring attires are made by the same person. Either that or that is actually Rhea Ripley's ring attire. I can't decide. Damian Priest wearing something from the Brutus Beefcake collection. I think it's the Rhea Ripley collection, but I do see what you're saying. Best Friends grabbing some of the wooden panels. Timothy Thatcher, former NXT Tag Champ, yes. Nice headlock by Thatcher. Both guys getting back up to their feet. Chuck wearing the new BF and OC BTE t-shirt. I haven't seen, to be honest. I'll try and keep an eye out for it. Rocking some new merch. Big Strike's coming in. I think isn't Chuck wearing the them being in the back of the van merch with Sue. Damian Priest put on the outside. Timothy Thatcher charging over. Big kick by Damian Priest. Nice uppercut, though, by Timothy Thatcher. Ooh. Slingshot there by Santana. You can see a bit of blood on the face of Santana. Sleep deprived. Can we get some more Eva Marie hate videos? There's no need. I think we've said all that needs to be said. Into the bin goes Ortiz. Into the ring steps goes Damian Priest. Thatcher. Nice. I was semi-correct of a gauntlet, says Mr. Tacos. Shout out to you. He hit his own face with the wood. Oh, I didn't see. Ortiz with a strike to the midsection. They're fighting on top of one of the cars. Nice suplex. They've already smashed the windscreen. I don't know whose car this is. Big splash. 1, 2. Just a 2. Slamming down a dumpster. I mean, these two are really going at it. These two teams. Again, I can see why this is the main event. Strike to the midsection of Trent. Ortiz getting smashed into the windshield. We got broken cars. We got very vocal fans out there. Trent put in a wooden panel on the front of a car. We've got still got 10 minutes. Looks like he's going to try and powerbomb Trent through that wooden panel, but he couldn't do it. Looking for a spear. Oh, crossbody, and they go through it. It's a door, actually. I thought it was just a big panel of wood, but it's actually a door. that definitely won't work now because they've broken it in half. I like how Priest barely cares about anything, says Mr. Tacos. Heather says, what I want to know is when AEW going to allow Kenta to cash in his New Japan US title match contract with Moxley. Is Moxley still the New Japan US champ, is he? Has Moxley... He should really appear on Strong, shouldn't he? Is it? I didn't know that he was the US champ still. I didn't know what was happening with that, actually. Right. Ortiz getting slammed on the front of a car. 9 minutes left. Joaquin said, Days, would you cry if Mr. McMahon passed away? I don't know if I'd cry, but I would be very sad. I know a lot of people say that, you know, he's done a lot of damage to the wrestling business and stuff like that, but he's also given us pretty much every happy memory we have when it comes to WWE. Like The Undertaker's streak and Daniel Bryan winning and Brett and Shawn and Stone Cold and just, I mean, he's been behind everything. WrestleMania? I mean, like, there might not even be a WrestleMania if it wasn't for Vince. He has really given us the structure of wrestling and what wrestling is. Some people like it, some people don't. Oh, look at that suplex into the railings. I think there's a chance that creative will improve when Vince goes, but I don't know if the business will. I don't know if WWE will make as much money as it has. And that's a bit of a concern. Big forearm strike by Damian Priest. Damian Priest looking really good here against Timothy Thatcher. Honestly, I don't know what else these guys can do on AEW. It's kind of a crazy street fight. Big strikes. It's hard hitting stuff. It's good stuff by AEW. It's got that kind of Fight Club feel with cars. Falcon Arrow by Damian Priest on Thatcher, and Thatcher kicks out. Low blow by Ortiz. Great match, says John. I want a new North American champion, says MD Salim. Malvin says this is a crazy street fight. It is very good. I mean, they're destroying quite a few vehicles here. Honestly, don't know what more they could do. We've had railings that have been bent and broken. There's been a couple of cars that have been trashed. Windscreens have been destroyed. Bonnets have been dented. Trent is up and gets... Oh! Hurled into a windscreen! That's Moody. He's got glass all in his back. That's nasty. That is Moody. Straight to the midsection. He's now choking him with a bat. Who is your favourite NXT and AEW wrestler? Thunder Rosa. I do like Will Hobbs. I do like Britt Baker. So I like those guys. And NXT, maybe Kushida. Certainly this new Kushida. Right, lots of people down on AEW. Single leg Boston Crab by Tim Thatcher as well. So much to watch. Like, there's a really compelling match on NXT, but then there's a crazy street fight on AEW. It's kind of really hard to know where to watch. That's for a title, and it's a really good match, and this is just an absolute bloodbath. Armbar by Tim. Armbar by Tim Thatcher. Damian Priest is in a lot of pain here. Oh, he's nowhere near the ropes. He's trying to move to get to them. He gets his foot to them. That's clever. At what point do I stop watching wrestling? At what point am I watching, like, an assault? At what point does it become a police matter? That would be my question. Like, there's blood everywhere. There's broken windscreens. The referee cannot stop the match. So at what point do you say that this street fight has gone too far? I don't know. Now he's got a pipe. Damian Priest planting Timothy Thatcher. To shoulder up by Tim Thatcher. I thought he got it there. Orange Cassidy has popped out of a boot. Superman punch by Orange Cassidy. He's got a chain wrapped around his hand. Why was Orange Cassidy in the boot for so long? Nice kick, Enziguri kick by Damian Priest. His team have been absolutely destroyed. Could he not have come out a little bit sooner? Damian Priest. Nice spinning heel kick off the top. Damian Priest looked like he's about to put Timothy Thatcher away here. The Reckoning. 1, 2, 3. Damian Priest wins. And Best Friends win as well. This is a great street fight, says J14. Reminds me of John Cena, Eddie Guerrero, the Latina parking lot brawl. Great match on NXT, I agree. Great main event. I think both main events were good. Yeah, they might have nightmares about this match. Hard to know how to feel about that AEW main event. I kind of feel like it was good, and I'm not down on it. I just don't know if it didn't go, like, too far. I mean, like, they were doing stuff, and it was just losing its impact. I think when you're doing, like, crazy stuff after crazy stuff after crazy stuff, I kind of feel like what we've just seen there, shouldn't Sue be crying? Shouldn't Sue be really upset at what she's just seen? She's just like, get in. Come on, get in, guys. Come on, let's go. Shouldn't she, like, get out, be in tears and all this and be like, oh, look at you, son. Look at this. Oh, my little baby. Instead, she's just like, jump in. I just feel like, honestly, with AEW, it's the details that are missing. I just think it's the details. I just think it's the little things. I think for me, one of the big criticisms with AEW, and it's a criticism of modern wrestling, is that it's just big move after big move after big move after big move. And honestly, you just get desensitized to it. We've said before, there can't be anyone that sits there going, oh, oh, oh. There can't be anyone that's popping for every single big move. There just can't. There's so much. You'd be passed out by the end of the show. And the problem is, that was a really good street fight. So I'm not down on the street fight. But I think my slight problem with it is it's basically like a Young Bucks Lucha Bros match, where it's just big spot after big spot after big spot after big spot. But rather than it being like big move after big move after big move, it's like, I'm going to put you through the roof of a car. Now I'm going to put you through a door. Now I'm going to put you through railings. Now I'm going to slam you through the windscreen. Now I'm going to punch you in the face with a chain. Now I'm going to hit you with a big metal pole. Now I'm going to do a package pole driver through a wooden panel on the back of a truck. Now I'm going to slam the bonnet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's good. It's brutal. There's blood. I don't mind any of those things. I just kind of feel like less is more sometimes. Less is more. I think you can get a bigger reaction if you was to do less of the high spots. Do just some more of the, do you know what I mean? More of the fighting and build towards a couple of things rather than boom, boom, boom. I just feel like that was the problem with that main event. But I'm not down on it because I do still think that it was a decent main event. So yeah, I'm not down on it. I just think that sometimes less is more. In regards to NXT, looked like a good match. I've got to say, I mean, I was watching probably AEW a bit more. Damian Priest retains, which I think is the right move. I think that's the right thing. So yeah, not bad. I think both shows were pretty strong. AEW is just gymnastics, says the botching guy. Mike says NXT 725, AEW 7.5. J14 says AEW 775, NXT 725. Common Sense says tomorrow people will talk about the street fight, not NXT. It depends what people watched, doesn't it? I suppose what will happen is that it will get shared a little bit more and it will be a bit more eye-catching to casual fans. But it doesn't work for me. Less is definitely more. What is UFC? It's real cage fighting. That's on Saturday. Joao says it was a spot fest. I just switched off from it. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I mean, I do agree. AEW gave us what Raw Underground wishes that it could be, says Esteban. Sonny Wolf says AEW 7, NXT 8. Revolution says, who the F has a name like Timothy? That is not a star's name. Chris says NXT 7.5, AEW 5. I love the street fight. It was better than the Cole Dream match, and I liked that okay. 8 out of 10 AEW, 7 out of 10 NXT, says Always Big O. Jake says AEW 8, NXT 775. Mr. Rotella says less is more. Tall Paul 2000's gaming channel says wrestling needs more wrestling. Trenton says big announcement. Big announcement. Well, the announcements are that NXT TakeOver is coming. There's a battle royal to find the women's #1 contender. And there is going to be a gauntlet match. But I didn't see who was in it. That's the annoying thing. I don't know. I think now I'm talking, I remember seeing Ridge Holland. So Ridge Holland was definitely someone I saw. Bronson Reed was someone that I saw. Cameron Grimes was someone that I saw. So that's 3 of the, I think 5 people are in it. 2 start and then 3 more come down every 4 minutes. So Cameron Grimes, Bronson Reed, Ridge Holland, but I think I saw the other 2, but I can't remember who the other 2 are. Should be Kushida. Kushida should be one, but I don't know that he is. LB says less is more. Wrestling is the least important part of wrestling, says Michael. It does feel that way. William Hensey, shout out to you. 8.7 says Brendan. Kaylee says 10.5 out of 10 for AEW. NXT 7.5. I think these are really hard to score. I think for me, Shotzi was really good against EO. So that was good. Main event was good. Drake Maverick, Killian Dane, wasn't too fussed about. Breezango Imperium was okay. Regal's announcements were fine. I kind of feel like NXT might be about a 7.5, actually. Kind of feel like average is 6.5, but this had some good matches on. I don't even know if I'd go that high in all fairness. Maybe 7.25. Maybe 7.25. Yeah, that feels right. AEW. What did they have? Thunder, Evilise. Not as good as Thunder versus Serena. Main event was good, but I do think that it wasn't perfect. What else did we get? MJF was nothing. FTR, Jurassic Express was decent. Yeah, I'd probably say AEW was maybe slightly better. Maybe AEW was slightly better. It had the Thunder Rosa match, which had moments. Wasn't a disastrous match. It just wasn't as good as her against Serena. FTR Jurassic Express I thought was really good. Main event I thought was good, but less is more. Actually, thinking about it, they're both about the same. I don't know if there's anything there I can say means that it definitely beats NXT, but then I can't say there's anything on NXT that definitely beats AEW. I think they're the same, you know. I think the reason why I'm struggling with scores is because I can't separate them. So if I can't separate them, why bother trying? I thought AEW might have just edged it. I was tempted to go a 7.5 for AEW, but I think they're about the same. Yeah, that feels about right. I'm happy with that. I'm going to say that this was a draw. I think the best match this week was Shotzi against Io. That was my favourite match. Boom. I'm pleased with that. Daze, what do you think about heel Otis as champion? They've got a lot of work to do with Otis because they gave him the money in the bank and then did nothing with him. So, yeah, I'm not feeling it. Not feeling Otis at the moment. I'm not on the Otis train for whatever reason. He just said 3 things about AEW and 7 things from NXT, and he thinks AEW won. No, I've given them the same score. In regards to AEW, I think that the Thunder Rosa Evilise match was good, but not as good as the Serena one before, as I keep saying. I think FTR Jurassic Express was good. And I think the main event was decent. Over on NXT, I think the Shotzi match was good. I think the Damian Priest Timothy Thatcher match was good. And honestly, I didn't say 7 things from NXT because I don't know 7 things from NXT. So they're about the same. They probably had about 3 or 4 good moments on both shows. So they're about the same. Sean says, NXT is going to attempt to make a main eventer out of those 3 mid-card guys. I wonder who the other 2 are. Days, Kushida, Kyle, Bobby, and Roddy were there. What, in that video package as well? Rebecca, shout out to you. People should AEW accountable like how we hold WWE. Yeah, Rebecca, thank you very much, my friend. Welcome. Shout out to you. The Hangman match was good as well. Yeah, it was good. It was good. NXT is always better, says David Connolly. Page match was good too, says Jake. William Johnson says, all AEW is nothing but ECW. That's all it is. You're staring at ECW all over again. I'm still upset you gave that trash Raw a 6.5. Which one? The one from this week? The one from this week was easily better than... If you want to say this week was trash, then I don't even know what word you're going to use to describe the previous two. Because the previous two were really not good, well below average. I mean, they could have been even worse. This was better than what we've seen from previous weeks. So, the problem is, I think 2 weeks ago was probably the worst one. And you could argue that I maybe needed to go lower on that score. But I went with the score I went with. And as a result, the other shows have to be better. If I think that these shows were better than 2 weeks ago, the score has to reflect that. So there's an argument that maybe I should have gone lower a couple of weeks ago. And as a result, that's why these scores have been maybe a little bit higher. I don't think they're that out, in all fairness. I wouldn't argue if you took half a mark off. Wouldn't bother me. Like, I could vibe with that. I think you have to allow for a little bit of flexibility when it comes to the scores. I've always seen the scores as like just being a bit of a guide. I think you can flex them by half a mark. But they're just a really good guide. Because what I'd like to do at the end of the year is get a video out that ranks all of the scores. Because we score every show that we watch. So I'll be able to tell you what I think are the best Raws of the year, the best SmackDowns of the year, the best AEWs of the year, the best NXTs of the year, the best overall show of the year. I will be able to tell you that because I've got scores for them all. And as I said, you know, if you kind of take into account there's a little bit of flexibility in there, and it's just like a guide, then, yeah, I still stand by that. I still think this Raw was a 6 to 6.5 for this week. But then, you know, do the same with the ones from the previous weeks as well. They showed Dream, Grimes, Reed, Gargano, Kushida, Strong, and some other... Oh, did they show that many, did they? Oh, okay, well, maybe we can't read into it then. Maybe we can't read into it. They can't pull the trigger on the Dream. How many times do they need #Fire Velveteen Dream to trend before they get the message? Kushida should definitely be involved. I don't see any reason why Kushida can't be involved. Strong, not too bothered about. Dream, I wouldn't use. Dream, Grimes, Reed, Gargano, Kushida, Strong, and maybe some others. I definitely saw Ridge Holland, so that would be 7. So maybe 5 of those 7. Maybe you would look to lose Dream, and maybe you would look to lose Ridge Holland because it's too soon. But I wouldn't have Gargano in there. I wouldn't have Gargano. I think he's had too many opportunities. I wouldn't have Gargano in there. Days, they did show Ridge Holland. Yeah, I'd give him that chance. Roy Rees, shout out to you. What was your comment, Roy? You're right, Austin. Could you imagine if Dream won? Could you imagine? I can't even imagine Dream being in the match because of the heat that would be involved. Darshan says NXT needs to get some more main roster talent and bigger arenas along with some entertaining promos. Yeah, I think you're going to see them getting some more main roster talent during the draft that we'll get in October. Hell in a Cell. Hey, Wrestling Days, those are fair comments. Shout out to you, dude. Shout out to you. Eric says Hell in a Cell needs to be on Halloween or October 29th because they need to build some of their stories. AEW not have their established superstars as main champions. AEW was awesome tonight. I give AEW 10 out of 10, says Roy Rees. Those are fair scores. Thank you. I kind of felt like they are in line with what a lot of people were giving 7s and 8s and around those kind of ballparks. And honestly, I just can't separate the shows. I kind of feel like both shows had about 3 or 4 big talking points, like matches. Neither show had like a big OMG moment for me. The William Regal announcements aren't like earth-shattering or anything like that. And there was nothing on AEW that blew my mind. So I think where both shows deliver just solid matches, both get about 3 or 4 solid matches. Promos are fine. Nothing really earth-shattering. About the same. Isn't the crowd on NXT Recruits? How legit is the heat coming from them? Not really legit at all, to be honest. I don't really pay them any attention. I don't even notice them. If they didn't even have them there, I wouldn't notice. I think they provide a little bit of noise as they bang on the plexiglass, but that's about it. I don't really notice anything outside of that, you know. Hell in a Cell in November should definitely be in October, says David Connolly. William says, if you look at AEW really close, you will see a similar version promos that you saw in ECW, says William. Imagine if there was a real crowd and the Dream came out. I tell you what, the Dream cannot be looking forward to that. Austin316 says, Regal said 5 would compete. Yep. Then why did they show more than 5? Perhaps it's because they haven't finalised who the 5 are going to be. So perhaps there's still a little bit of, you know, another announcement to come as to who it's going to be, or they'll announce it on social media or something, or maybe there'll be qualifying matches. I don't know. It could be that we get qualifying matches next week and then that match is the week after. I don't know. They showed Santos Escobar and Kyle O'Reilly. Both shows were hurt by a lack of audience, says John. Esteban says, really hoping NXT moves to Tuesday so that we don't consistently need to compare the 2 best shows of the week. I would disagree. I think SmackDown's the best show of the week. I think they've got some really interesting stories going on, and certainly Roman with Paul Heyman. Roman turning heel was huge. Putting him with Paul Heyman has been very interesting. I think the story that they're telling with Jey Uso at the moment, having him involved as well, I think is quite interesting. I think what they're doing with Bayley and Sasha is very interesting. So I would say SmackDown for me at the moment. David says, why does everyone hate the Dream? Well, there's some very strong accusations that were labelled against him, and we're told that they were investigated, but there was someone saying that no one had spoken to him, and he had made big accusations as well. So it kind of brought into question how thorough the investigation was. Triple H said that he didn't want to talk about it. First of all, he said that a thorough investigation had been done. Then it was pointed out there was someone on social media saying they hadn't been spoken to. So then Triple H said, I don't want to talk about it. And then they're still using the Velveteen Dream. So, I don't know, there's just big question marks about, do you know what I mean? How thorough that investigation had been. Dallas says, I love SmackDown, I hate Raw. Yes, I agree. Darshan says, why is AEW crowning former WWE employees as champions like Cody, Brody, Jericho, Moxley, FTR? We need MJF, Darby as champions. I think the feeling is that they don't quite have the star power yet. They don't have the pulling power. And that they want to have, you know, you've got to remember that when it comes to convincing someone to buy a pay-per-view, you need to tell them what the big matches are. So having Moxley as the poster guy and the champion, having Jericho as the poster guy and, the champion before, that helps sell pay-per-views, convince people to, buy them. If it's MJF, how many people know MJF? Granted, the AEW crowd do, but they're trying to get those casual fans, At the moment, they average around about 750. They managed to get 1 million last week, which was huge. So they're trying to keep that 1 million. Can you keep the 1 million if you put the title on MJF? It's the great unknown, in all fairness. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that I think they feel a bit more comfortable having the title on a well-known, established star like Moxley, like Jericho, like FTR, that have been exposed, had TV time already through WWE. Kujit says, SmackDown is the best. They give us more interesting storylines. Mad G27 says the best shows are on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Ninja Gamer says, I can't sleep. I just want to watch SmackDown. Wrestling Days fan says, Days, I'm proud of you, of all the things you've done past your incredible job. Shout out to you, Wrestling Days fan. Hope you are well. Great stream. Thank you, my friends. We will wrap up in a few minutes' time. Robin813 says, what is your favourite NXT match and AEW match ever? Favourite NXT match ever is Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate at TakeOver Chicago. I might be biased because obviously it was for the UK title. It was incredible. The title changed hands. It was just, to see two young British guys on that platform with the NXT UK Championship on the line and the Chicago crowd going crazy. The Chicago crowd are hot anyway, but, they were so into it. There was, UK chants, and stuff like this, and it's just, really warms the heart, that does, Kind of makes you proud, and, Pete Dunne, what a talent. Tyler Bates, still so young, and that they'd be using those guys a lot more if they could. It's just that they're trapped in the UK. So really feel for them. So I love that. And of course, I love Sasha Bailey as well. That's such an important match. I love that as well. There's quite a few, actually. There's been some brilliant NXT matches. I haven't even mentioned the Johnny Gargano matches and, some of those great tag matches. And it's been loads, man. It's really hard. But a special place in my heart would probably be Bailey Sasha and would definitely be Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate. And then when it comes to AEW, I think the best AEW match is my match of the year, which would be Kenny and Hangman versus the Young Bucks. That was incredible. Dave Meltzer regards it as the best tag match ever. Isn't that mind-blowing? That apparently, according to Dave Meltzer, this year, 2020, which has been a dumpster fire, we apparently saw the best tag match ever. Not the best AEW tag match ever. Not the best tag match to take place in America. The best tag match ever. Kenny Omega, Hangman Page against the Young Bucks. And it is brilliant. It is really, really good. You can debate whether it's the best tag match ever or not, but there's no denying that it's a great match. So, yeah. Darshan says Pete Dunne versus Finn Balor. Febin says, Days, maybe the plan is for Mandy to ditch Otis for someone on Raw, which could result in Otis becoming aggressive. Austin316 says, I still love Sami Zayn Neville from NXT Revolution. That was great, yeah. Carmella on SmackDown. Best NXT match was Bate versus Volta. That was NXT UK, wasn't it? I think that's more classed as NXT. I don't know, maybe you would still class it as NXT, but I would class that as NXT UK. That was in Cardiff, I believe, at NXT UK TakeOver. Alex says, we all love watching wrestling, so let's do this. Monday, Raw. Tuesday, NXT. Wednesday, AEW. Thursday, Impact and 205. Friday, SmackDown. Saturday, NWA. Takeover. Sunday, all wrestling pay-per-views. I think people would like that. Dave Meltzer spouts nonsense, says BD. Cool. Bate versus Volta has to be the best NXT match. In my opinion, the second best match ever in all of wrestling. Darshan says Keith Lee will be the leader of Retribution. Cardiff was the first day stream that I watched, says Robin813. Well, hopefully we do get another NXT UK takeover. They're meant to be in Dublin. And I haven't seen any announcements on that. Maybe we get some announcements on that tomorrow. Not sure. We're going to have to wait and see. But Dallas Stars fan says there's just too much wrestling. There's too much wrestling. Can't keep up with it all. I do know that feeling. Right. I think we are done. Tomorrow, I think, is going to be special. My plan, and it might not work, but it's good to have a plan. My plan is between 11 and midnight, so that's 5 Eastern and 6 Eastern. We're doing a members-only stream. That's just going to be a chat this week. We've done a couple of watch-alongs in the past, but this week, I think it's been a while since we just answered questions, threw some theories around, just had a chat, really. So, because when we're watching stuff, we get a bit distracted, or I do. So it makes sense to just have a bit of a chat. Just check in, basically. See that everyone's all right. So I'm going to do that. So that's members only stream. After that, I've got to record the Wrestling Escape pod. I don't even know what this week's about. Tommy, did you see what Tommy put on Twitter? Tommy put on Twitter, like, the subjects for you to choose from are, should we talk about how 2K didn't give Tommy an advanced copy of Battlegrounds? Shall we review the dirt, which he doesn't know I've already shown off? Shall we talk about Retribution? What are we going to talk about? And then I can't remember the other one. They're just like 4 absolutely random. So I have not got a clue what this week's Wrestling Escape pod could be an absolute dumpster fire, right? So I've got to record that tomorrow. So I do want to do a stream tomorrow, and we don't have lots of time. So my plan is that at 2 a.m., which I think is around about 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm thinking of doing a watch-along for the first ever Clash of Champions, because we're building towards Clash of Champions, so it makes sense to watch a Clash of Champions, and it goes all the way back to 1988, and it just so happens that the first ever Clash of Champions is only an hour and 50 long, so it's Clash of Champions, makes sense, because that's coming up. It's quite short. It's not like 3 hours or anything. It's like an hour and 40, an hour and 50. That's a nice length. That's what she said. And the main event is one of the best wrestling matches ever. It is Ric Flair versus Sting. And it's really like the arrival of Sting, if you will. This is like one of Sting's breakout moments. And I even looked at an article that spoke about the 10 greatest Ric Flair matches. This is on it. This is on it. Ric Flair versus Sting, one of the greatest matches of all time. Got 4.75 stars from Meltzer. And it is also the first Clash of Champions. That currently is what I'm thinking of streaming. I know that there's some people that might not be too into going like that far back. Like they might want to watch a more recent one with AJ Styles and whatever. I've got to tell you, the more recent Clash of Champions, they're long. They're like 3 hours long. And they're not that good. I was looking, like, one of them, the main event is AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal. And I was like, I just don't want to watch this. I don't want to go back and watch them shows. Like, they're not great shows. They're the kind of shows where you go... Oh. So, do I want to watch one of them? Or do I want to watch a shorter show that's got one of the best matches of all time in it? It's a bit of a no-brainer. So, I'm very much leaning that way. So, I can see tomorrow being members stream, Wrestling Escape Pod recording, and then at 9 Eastern, 2 a.m. UK time, we do the first Clash of Champions. And that'll be 2 hours max. So it'll be done by 11 Eastern, which hopefully means people have got time to go to bed, get some sleep before work and school and whatever. So that's my thought process. That's where I am. So I preferred Night of Champions. Yeah, I did look at Night of Champions, but some of those are quite long as well. But honestly, we could explore Night of Champions, but maybe that's a better one for a Sunday because they're still a little bit longer. So, yeah, Night of Champions might be quite an interesting one to do, but maybe not for tomorrow. Anyway, I'm just floating it out there. Right, that's it. We are done. Really appreciate the support. Thanks a lot for joining us. Not bad shows tonight at all, so thoroughly entertained. It is a shame that they were on at the same time. There's no denying that. I do wish that they were separate again, but as we said, it is what it is. Awesome, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.